Hey!
Hello.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Chloe.
Happy Friday, Daddy.
Gonna have a little fun today for a couple minutes. Eli's still here, as you can see.
What's up, guys?
He's got his headphones off for a minute. We have a special guest today. The self-proclaimed best sister. She's still earning that keep in the house. But you wanted to be on. You saw Daddy and Eli the other day doing a podcast, right? And you got to hear yourself in those headphones, and you laughed hysterically. And then you said, "Oh, I want to be on the next podcast." And I said, "All right, right." and then you were goofing off, and I said, "No goofing off. You got to write your notes. Hey, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to tell people if they're gonna listen?" Then you should provide value, right? So you're learning that it's not just all fun. There's more organization to it, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you got some notes there that you wanted to talk about. So we're gonna let you have a little fun. You got a couple of minutes here. What's the first one on there that you got with your notes that you prepared? What's your first note?
Well, my first note is my favorite game, Animal Jam.
All right. So what kind of game is it? Oh, is it on PlayStation? Is it on TV?
It's on my grandma's iPad.
Your Lola's iPad?
Yes.
All right.
sir.
So first and foremost, games. You think all kids should play games?
No, sir. Well,
I don't mind them. It's up to you. Do you like games?
yes, sir.
Do they help you learn?
It depends what type of game.
You're right. I know. You're either learning like you should be, or you're like beating someone's butt on Street Fighter, right?
Yes. Sir.
And I know your mom lets you play those with her. I know. Those are fun though. So what's your favorite game?
Animal Jam.
And what's that one about?
Well, Animal Jam is about you get to pick your animals, and you get to earn like these coins and sapphires.
Okay. And what's your mission? Is there a mission?
There's no mission.
You just mess around. That could be fun. It's a game.
Game, and there's games inside of that game.
Oh, okay. I like it. What's your second favorite game? What's that fighting game you play with Mommy all the time?
Dead or Alive?
I don't know. Dude, they were on the hardest level with like the hardest speed, and I didn't get past beginner.
That's awesome.
I played it for 5 minutes, and I was
crazy.
done. You don't like that baseball game on Wii?
Oh, I do like that one.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
And you go to school a lot. You go to school after school, right? You have advanced school, and then you have Muay Thai a couple times a week. So it's fun to shut your brain off and relax and play some games.
I
Good.
don't have to be like full of energy all the time.
Right? And just hang out and play some games. Good.
Yes, sir.
What's another one you got on there?
Well, my second one is my little brother.
That looks like Daddy's handwriting. I think Daddy wanted you to talk about little brother.
Yeah.
So that's your biggest responsibility, is that you're a big sister, right? You got to take care of your brother, right? So what's your favorite part about your little brother?
Daddy's cute and funny.
So men out there growing up, if you look good,
Cute and funny.
that's it. Let's be cute and funny. Yeah, very good. What's your favorite part about helping?
My favorite part is helping is
Diapers.
I haven't even. Well,
Wait,
I guess so.
You haven't done a diaper yet?
No, sir. I
Good.
never want to do.
Oh, well, that'll change today. We're just doing all kinds of new stuff today. We got the podcast. We might even do that next week on the podcast. How about that? What else you got on there, kid? What's your next one?
What's hard about my dad?
What's hard about your dad?
I was waiting for her to get to that one.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Oh, you just can't wait to add to that
I saw
list,
it down
Eli?
there, I'm like, oh, that's a good
Are you
one.
relating with a 9-year-old for the first time? Is that why you guys are homies right now?
Wait, do you have a couple minutes to talk?
This is if everyone can. Fat, make sure the camera's on them, even though I'm talking. Right? Because I've been wondering, like, why are they so homey over there? They're just hanging out next to each
Got
other.
our secret
He's like,
handshake.
oh, hey, she can just be on my side. Well, she's over there. Oh, I can't wait for her to get to this one. So for
Talk
the
what's
first
hard about
time,
Will.
9 years old, you
What's
can
hard
relate to
about
her.
Dad?
Let's hear it.
Well, I don't really know what's
Good
hard
answer.
about it.
Good answer. What's the hardest part about Dad? Am I hard on you? I make you do stuff? What you got? You're
No.
not-
Well, you're not really hard on me.
See that, Eli? You're being a sissy. No? What's the hardest part? What do you think? If you had to say something.
Doing stuff that I don't want to do.
I do that all the time.
Shut up.
I know what you mean.
I do stuff too.
I know.
Yeah. Like what?
Um,
Dog-
taking a nap.
Oh, you like naps, though. What about dog poop? That's a good chore, right?
I
But
don't like picking up dog poop, but I like playing with my dogs.
okay, see, there you go, right? So you're earning your keep, right? You wanted a dog, and Daddy said, hey, you're old enough. You got to take care of the dog if you're going to have one, right? And you do a great job every day. She's out there every day. And then on Sundays, I say, hey, grass guy's here. Did you get all the dog poop? And then I get to see a funny
I
face.
just have to wake up early, let the dogs out at 6 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like falling asleep when I'm picking up dog poop because
Yeah,
I'm
don't-
so tired.
Good. What else you got on there before you get out of here? Family?
What I love about my family,
Okay. What do you love about your family?
they're funny,
Okay.
they're friendly. Let's see.
All that stuff I buy you and it's not even needed. I just need to be funny. That's it. Damn it.
What my parents get me, and I'm thankful for them.
We're thankful for you too. Why do you think it's important to talk about family? You think it's important for other kids to hear that? You think it's important for kids to appreciate their family?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Good. Good. What's it smell like over there? Does Eli fart yet? He looks nervous.
Not yet. Might be my Chipotle
You like Uncle Eli?
Yes.
Yeah. He might save your butt one day from Dad. Funny story, and we'll let you get out of here. She had a birthday. She turned 9. And she goes, I'm a preteen. And I said, shut the F up. And Kate goes, William Cortland. And I was like, sorry. Chloe, shut the F up. And I said the word, right? And then and I said, you're not a preteen yet, right? I said, don't do that. And then why did I say that? I said, teens are what?
Stupid.
And everyone knows what I'm talking about. Teenagers just do some dumb stuff. And your mom's gonna want to kill you one day, but it might be me or your Uncle Eli saving your butt one day. So appreciate him too.
And Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for saying a bad word.
You said a bad word?
Yes.
What'd you say?
I'm not saying it again.
What's it start with?
It starts with S.
S? Shit?
No.
You said that?
No, sir.
What? You gotta say it now. Everybody's watching.
It's stupid.
Oh, God, you're such a good kid. Yeah. Terrible word. Terrible word. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for having fun. Did you get your notes organized? Did you have fun coming on?
Yes, sir.
A little bit more work than you think, though, huh?
Yes, sir.
When you're gonna take people's time, you gotta be prepared, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Love you, kid. Give Eli those headphones. Head upstairs. Enjoy your little brother, and I'll
Bye,
come get you in a bit.
peeps.
Bye, peeps.
Good job, girl.
I'm out of here.
What's up, guys? Oh,
What's
this feels
up?
so much better, man.
Ah, I can hear you.
Oh, this feels so much better.
When I get Eli going in my ear, I tell you what, and that gets me going.
That's awesome.
Fun, man. It's fun. I don't think I'll be doing that too often. It's fun to get her on here. She asked to do that last week.
That was
and
adorable.
It was cute.
Mom, I said bad word.
Stupid. I know, Mike. Dude, you are not my kid. But hey, yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah,
Be
bad
good.
Punish her later.
It's fun to throw her on for a few minutes, but my biggest thing was just letting her know, like, hey, there's more work to organizing your thoughts and being productive. And hey, if you're gonna say things to people, like be respectful of their time. Like make sure that you've got some thoughts organized and you have something that's good to say. Don't just come on here and play around with your ears. So good little lesson, man. She's a good kid. She's doing her Muay Thai twice a week, and last night she was running around the house punching and kicking everything. And then Kate's like, "Here, come here. Let me show you how to do it." I'm like, "Oh, great. Let's watch YouTube, knuckleheads." Yeah. They play a lot of video games. They get it, I guess. But no, man, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to bring her on. So if you guys are watching, enjoying your kids, something that we work a ton, but benefit is sometimes, whether it's podcasts or if we got the kiddos at the office, because we run our own show, we can have our family around with a little bit more ease than most. So yep, we kind of lose a little bit because we work almost every day, but we gain because our family can just be involved with what we do, man. And I know exactly what you're about to say here in a second before, and we're gonna get to our topic. Yeah. And Matthew Peterson and Craig, hey, if you guys are listening, I'm gonna get to you in a minute, so just hang tight, Craig. But we get to do that, and I know you made a great correlation one time when you said you didn't, with your dad. You're like, yeah, man, I saw him maybe once with work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know?
And when it was like take your son to work day or something, and and if I was at his work with them, I was just running around the different offices taking candy off of people's desks and shit. But one of the things that I love about what it is that we do, and having our children around us, is that we can educate our children and tell them, when they see us having a conversation at home, which it's 2019, you're going to have a work conversation at home. We've talked about that work-life integration before, and our families respect that if we have to pick up the phone or be on the computer, that we need to be doing that, right? So what I really like, though, is that, and my kid's one, so I'm not there yet with them, but when he hears me have a phone call, man, when I get off that phone call, I'll be able to tell him, why I said the things that I said, why that phone call is necessary over a text message or something like that. And just show them the little things, like you making Chloe fill out notes before sitting down here and not have anything to say.
Right.
Just that little lesson right there, man. As a kid, those things stick with you, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. They get a, we talk about this all, like, who are you? And then who are you within your profession?
Yeah.
Right. So they get to see you at home and whatever it may be. And then they get to see how you conduct business with work. And then why? Like you said, just teaching your son the lesson of, like, hey, so this conversation happened. Here's why. Hey, remember last week when we did this? All right, same guy. What do you think? Yep.
Huge.
That's what I did.
Huge.
And just kind of teaching them that mindset and having some fun with it. So if you guys are still watching, man, appreciate you guys kind of letting me bring my little personal world into the public and show you the kiddo. And dude, our boys are getting older. They're walking around doing all kinds of weird stuff. I'm sure
crazy,
they're going to wander down here one day. They're just going to show up.
They are.
Or be here before we're here. And that'll be fun too, man. Cash is he took his first couple steps, at 9 months, and pretty quick. And then he's not completely walking. He gets it those first couple steps. But if grandma's got him by one hand or something, or mom does, man, he's like rolling.
He's understanding words and
he knows truck. He knows shark.
Yeah.
He knows his color. So he has toys, like these little rubber pieces from those rubber mats, and they're just like little extra pieces. So they're shaped the exact same way. And if his grandma says, "Hey, Cash, grab me the blue one," he'll grab the blue one. So pretty smart, probably the Asian gene. I'll disrespect anybody. Why people hold strong.
Meanwhile, my son's at home, working on his favorite lounging position in his little elephant chair.
No, we were talking about this because your son is going to be exactly what my son needs. We were talking, and my son's got abs coming through. It fucking pisses me off, dude. Because I had to earn, when I had him for the short time I did have him, I earned him. Now I'm going back to it, and he just comes out with them. And we were making a joke because you have an incredible picture of your son. Two incredible pictures of literally, if there was just a personality photo with his hands behind his head chilling.
He's got his hands behind his head, his feet crossed. He's leaning all the way back in his little chair.
Dude, just
chilling.
I'm too sexy for my chair. It's that for sure. And you were like, "Oh man," I'm like, "Dude, he's so cool." And I'm like, "Cash will be that quiet one who's like the captain of the football team, right? Playing ball and getting all stressed out over a loss." And Eli's gonna be like, "Hey man, see all these girls in the stands? It's all, dude, why do you even care?
Yeah.
Come here. Come hang out." And you're like, "Hey, Eli, want to play football?" Like, no.
Yeah.
Why would I want to do that? But if he wanted, he could.
Yeah.
Because Eli's a strong kid. So it's going to be, man, I know we're kind of going on a rant here, but it's fun watching them grow and involving them. And Chloe does well, man. We gave her some extra chores. She has chores with Cash. So because a lot of the attention has to go to Cash. So when you give her a role, she's involved. She's in part of the team, right? She's a part of that team. She's not neglected and just sitting on the couch watching TV while mommy and daddy are changing diapers or doing something else or giving him a bath. No, man, she's got a role, so she feels like she's contributing. And I think that's been huge to our success with her not being detached from mommy or daddy or not feeling neglected. We haven't even gotten a bad, not that she's ever had one, but we haven't gotten any bad moods or any.
Yeah, no. And that whole yes sir, no sir thing, that's
just her, man.
That's her.
Yeah, dude, I get it. I'm big.
That's incredible.
I'm a Marine.
Man.
I'm a Marine. So when people hear her say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. One of our some people at work when they hear oh, daddy's got you locked on. No, man. Her mom had her mom started that very young, but not from an authoritative way. It was just hey, that's just how you speak to your seniors, man. People that are older than you. That's just how you talk. It wasn't you better call me ma'am. It was. That's just how you talk, and Chloe's always picked up on it. She says pardon and other big words. She's probably smarter than me by now, man. Let's not go down that road. I don't need a depressing Friday about how my 9-year-old is more smart than me, but we got a great topic today.
A few of them.
A few great topics.
Yeah.
they're borderline rants. I got Andy Frisell in the back of my head, so I'm not gonna fucking go down that road.
We're gonna be bitching a little bit today,
but we're gonna have some humble bitching today, and just really kind of like call it like we see it. And I think some of it needs to be there. I think if every podcast becomes a rant or becomes a bitch fest, redundant. But sometimes there's just some things, some key indicators about some industries or types of people that are out there that we ran into. It's good to keep that. But prior to that, dude, fucking Craig and Matthew Peterson. First of all, Matt, Mr. Colorado, a couple years back, super shredded. Well, I was excited because he commented on our dairy block photo. I'm like, cool, man. Like, that guy's a big deal. What's he looking at my stuff for?
Yeah.
And then he commented too. Cool, man. Like, he's a big deal. What's he commenting on my stuff for? And I'm like, oh, to make fun of me.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
No, he was just like something about the sleeves being too tight.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I get it, man. He's like, them sleeves were done 3 inches ago. And I was like, dude, I don't know what you're calling me. Fat? What are you calling me right now? And then they were him and Craig. And Craig has been talking shit for like 6 messages. Craig, I know you're listening. You literally commented you'd be listening to this today. So you're literally waiting for me to say your name. And I mentioned the size of the shirt. Stupid. Doesn't matter. They're not true. You know, I said, yeah, man, I wear XL talls. For those of you that are out there that care, I'm 260 pounds.
Yeah. And the sleeves are still super tight.
And then Matt was like, dude.
And real quick, for reference, I'm wearing a medium right
now. And Eli
and the sleeves have a little bit of room in it.
He's like, why are you 260 wearing a XLT then? Like, you should be in a double or triple. I'm like, well, I'm not that fat. Like, the shirts are a little baggy in the core. They're just tight up top. The bottom line was, they were talking shit. Matt's shredded. Got nothing to say to you. Craig, I haven't seen your abs or anything shredded yet. I know you're built like a house and you're strong. But
big dudes.
Dude, what I love about it, man, is Craig was also saying, hey, man, by the way, I love the podcast. You guys are cool. And what's so fun about social media and just podcasting like this is people, even if they haven't like met you or know you like that, they kind of feel like they do know you.
Yeah.
So then they're online giving you a ruse and busting your balls. And dude, that's cool, man. I got pretty thick skin and I got a pretty good gauge if someone's a jerk just trying to be a bully or if someone's just having some fun. And these guys were merely just having fun. But it's nice because as soon as I get shredded, I'm going to start just sending nudes to Matt. Randomly sending like topless photos to Matt and Craig. Like, oh, sorry, Matt. That wasn't for you with my button down unbuttoned.
Here's why I love that, dude. And this kind of ties into one of our topics for today. Like, you and I are so much ourselves when we're on podcast, when we're doing our videos. I feel like our podcast content is our truest selves. We're always ourselves, but I feel like we're most uninhibited here. And what I love about that, man, is when you're not trying to act like somebody, when you're truly just being yourself, the people that you're going to attract, the people that are going to listen to you, they're going to feel like they already know you, like you said. But in addition to that, they're generally your people, man. And it's like, they just know, like, you know, like we talk shit here all day to each other. And it's like, then they're throwing little things out of there, but it's from a respectful, friendly place like your homie would.
Yeah.
And it's nice when people can feel like that. Because that's exactly what we want. We want that connection with our audience. We want them to feel like, engage with us, guys. Like, we're sitting here talking like two buddies. Anyone else can chime in.
It was so funny because Craig commented right after Matt. And he's like, XL. And I was like, yeah, bitch. That's what I just said above. Are you not reading or you just want to talk more shit today? Or are you want to? And he goes, literally, so matter of fact, he goes, oh, no, bro, you're just posting more. Which means I just have to comment more. I'm
That's
like,
right.
Fuck off, dude.
That's right.
But it was funny, and it's nice, man, because like you and I were doing some cool cut stuff and some diet things with our networking group, and I think I'm down total like 14 or 16, like a consistent 14 or 16. But then when just guys are giving you a ruse and busting your balls, it's like, dude, you're gonna forget about everything you commented on. This will be out of your world after I'm done talking trash on my podcast. By the way. Yeah. Craig, Matt, you don't get a last word. This is our podcast. You wanna create a podcast, get your own last word. Hey, have at it. But today, Will wins.
But keep the comments coming. I like.
Shut up, Eli. But it'll be fun because they'll forget about it, right? And then I'm gonna start talking mad trash on their photos like 6 months from now, and just be randomly shredded, sending them stupid shit, right? But it's fun because it also shows guys, like, it motivates you when they're noticing, but just having fun, man, and guys kind of being guys and having fun. And it's nice to somewhat have a connection and a line of communication with some of your, I don't want to call them fans. I'm not going to say like they're my fans. We're not a big deal. They're just cool ass dudes that think we're decent, cool ass dudes that just want to like talk a little trash and have some fun. And I respect that, man. And I appreciate stuff like that. And it's fun to have connection with people beyond just these microphones. Like we hear about it afterward and stuff, and a lot of fun, man. So, excuse me. Bad podcast etiquette.
Bless you. Sorry, it's my fault. I brought over tacos before we started.
No,
this.
I burped that carbonation. My 0 calorie
drinks,
fitting into my XLTs.
That's right.
Energy drink.
That's right. Don't get me started on sugar drinks.
Fucking
that was last week.
it.
I'm about to do it again. I can't.
Oh, you're edging.
I can't do
You're
it.
fiending.
But let's talk about.
Let's do it. Let's get into the topic today.
So talking about just being yourself. We're always talking to people that listen to our stuff, and a lot of times people will chime in with their 2 cents, and that's 100% more than fine. We're always open to feedback. We're not going to change shit, but we're always open to feedback. One thing it got me thinking about, and this is a personal issue with me because this is a road that I was stuck in for years and years and years and years and years before I really started being comfortable being Eli. It's when you're trying to appeal to everyone, meaning the posts that you put on social, your stupid quote photos, the captions that go beneath whatever content you're putting out. A lot of people are so worried about offending certain groups or not appealing to a certain group that they end up trying to appeal to everyone. And when you're going middle of the road like that, what ends up happening is you appeal to no one. And for me, I was stuck in that place for so long because I was concerned about the content that my family would see. I was concerned about content that coworkers would see or people that I respect and they're around me. And then what I started to realize, particularly after hanging out with Will, and I had no choice but to be myself.
Hold on a minute. One, it's a great thing that you're yourself.
Yeah.
Don't make that like, no choice, but to just be me. Like, really, is it that bad? Like you framed that up so bad.
I said that as a good thing, as a plus, because you are so you. Like you're 100% you. And here's the thing that a lot of you guys may not realize about Will. He's really good at, I think this probably comes from your police days. It's going to be a different conversation. If we're sitting down and we're talking to a 70-year-old potential home seller, it's going to be a different conversation than we have here, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's not just off the rocker, cussing and doing his, will thing all over the place, but there are little adjustments you have to make.
It's language.
Well, I just mean the whole will thing, not just the language, but the whole will thing. So smart enough to make some adjustments here and there. But when it comes to you and your brand, right? Not necessarily you, in your cubicle at work with your tie on. Yes, we understand there may have to be some different, some adjustments per your audience. But like just the power of being yourself. Like when he brings up me talking about weed, I kept that on the down low for the past 12 years, and was always so afraid to talk about that. But now what happens when he brings it up once in a while, what I love is that now people look at me and they're like, wow, like that guy has his shit together and he can articulate and he's not the stupidest guy around and he's the least lazy person I know, but he still smokes weed every day.
Interesting.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I love that you can change people's perspective. And the more people that are just open and honest about who they are and the things they're going through and the things that they like to do, I think it's going to help break down a lot of those barriers. And then the people who do want to do business with you, who do engage with your content, those are your people and they get you.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it should be. And I don't necessarily think you should be for everyone. I guess if you are for everyone, because you just are, cool, but if you're not, I don't necessarily think you need to try to be. And, and one word I want to add to what you were talking about when you said just the power of being yourself, the freedom of just being yourself, man. Like just not having to have any stress on your shoulders or worried about like what you think you should say or what you think you should be doing versus like, hey man, like be yourself. And when you talked about like talking to a 70-year-old lady or versus like a gang member, things are different, but I'm still me.
Yeah.
There's still some fundamentals that you fall back on and you just got to know your audience, and we cuss on here, and obviously I probably cuss here a little bit more than I do in real estate, not because I'm changing who I am. I kind of understand my audience, and most clients and people in that profession don't really mind cursing anyway. Ultimately, it's sales, and you got a certain type of person that's there. Even if you think, oh, that's a soccer mom in like a pencil skirt. Yep, she might cuss more than me because she's in sales, that's man. True. You can put up a lot of shit, so... but just knowing my audience and just understanding like it does, just because I don't mind cussing doesn't mean it has to be every other word.
How do you get over that fear, man? And how do you recommend people kind of start doing that?
Fear. Fear of what?
fear of
being yourself,
being who you are, right?
Well, and I credit this to the Marine Corps, right? Because the Marine Corps will throw you into a lot of situations, and they're very proactive on small unit leaders. Like when you start getting comfortable in your own skin and when you start getting good at some things, they encourage it. No one is there to like put their thumb on you, kind of like at corporate America, man. Like you're doing some badass stuff, but then your manager takes credit for it.
Yeah.
You don't have, I'm only speaking to my experience. I'm not saying every squad leader or commanders are good. That's not this conversation. From my experience, they encouraged it. Doesn't mean that you're not making mistakes. Doesn't mean that you're not fucking up, but who you were and the strengths that came with that, they were really good at exploiting your strengths and using that for, for training and preparing for combat. Right. So, there's that. I think a lot of it too, man, kind of comes from being a dad, and my biggest analogy that's just kind of coming to mind is like, when we're all teenagers, nobody wanted to like admit they like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Or girls would be bashful about it. Or a boy band.
Yeah.
Or like nobody wanted to like talk about New Kids on the Block. But they come back for a reunion tour. And everyone that liked them in the closet, right? They were closet liking them, are like 30, 35, 36 now. And the Pepsi Center sold out.
Right.
Because part of it is like, hey, I'm over it. I am who I am. I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I've had the bad friendships kind of come and go. I've had the bad relationships come and go. I've kind of made my mistakes, and I'm a little bit wiser for them. And I'm not so, cognitive like what other people like think about me.
Yeah.
If they don't, and the biggest thing is like if someone doesn't like something about you, okay, just understanding like either from exhaustion or just understanding like I don't need to change your mind.
That's huge right there. That's huge.
Yeah, if someone's offended, you offend me. Got it. And then what? Do you wake up with leprosy the next day and then you die and then they should charge me? No. You're just offended. Like, cool. I don't like your fucking beard. I don't know what to say to you. But I'm man, funny stuff, but like I don't want to be a push-up bra and I don't want to be a beard.
Yep.
No disrespect if you have a beard. If you have a beard and the beard's your thing, got it. I don't need that, Craig. I know you got a beard. I can already feel it crawling through my screen right now. If that's you, great. But we all know those guys, man, that are putting on those big old beards and they got their skinny dark jeans on and their black shoes and their IPAs and they can't even change a tire.
Well, and
don't get me wrong.
I know you just got a weak ass jawline under there.
Well, you might. And that's okay if you do. I don't want to get
for the record. I can't grow a beard, so I might be talking a little shit. But
anyway. And here's my thing. I don't care what people look like. I don't want this to get taken out of context.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is if you're putting on a facade. Some of facades can be physical. So let's be clear. If your facade is to force your way or into being something like you're not, man, and just don't do that. You know, or like motorcycle gangs, Hell's Angels, Mongols, dude. Cool. Right? Like, I got nothing good or bad to say about them. That's where that stays. But I will say this. They are who they are. Okay? Yeah. Why guys in suburbia that want to ride their motorcycles wear leather with cuts on the back and they create like motorcycle clubs? Dads of America. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass right now, but I don't know why they want to replicate it. Like, I don't know why, if you're like a good guy that's doing everything right, why you think you have to look like that. Like, why do you have to be a badass on a bike? Why aren't you just a badass? Because, hey, I got 3 kids. I crushed my job. I got my Harley or my Victory or whatever, or a Honda because you like Honda. Like, why aren't you just a badass in your own perspective, man? And why doesn't your perspective of who you are matter most? Why are there so many clubs that want to go do good things for churches and communities and kiddos and doing all these great things, but then they're wearing leather vests and cuts? Right. There's some veteran ones. I know that. However, a little bit of like escape card for that, because a lot of your veterans are in Mongols and Hell's Angels, and that's where they find their identity. And so a lot of that collabs back over. But I just don't know, like, hey, man, why can't you just be badass? Like, when you and I go out, you'll give me a hard time for drinking a cider beer. I'm a sweet tooth. Okay? I don't like dark beer. I don't like IPA. Like, hey, cool, man. Like, I'm gonna drink this rosé.
Yeah. Will doesn't give a fuck. He'll drink a hard cider, or like yesterday was hard cider rosé. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Let's be correct here if we're gonna use that term.
Yep.
I'm I don't give a fuck. Nope, it's not that. It's, hey, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's that kind of. It's not like this overbearing, insecure.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Like, no, man, hey, man, I don't care.
It's literally, I just don't care.
I just don't. And, like, don't get it twisted, okay? Don't do that one. And I remember talking to Tosh, and he's like, he said I had soft eyes. You know, he's like, oh, man, just like, you're charismatic, and you're like this big dude, and you shave your arms. I remember when I used to shave my arms. Yeah. And he's kind of like going at me, giving me his opinion. I respect it. He was spot on. He's like, yeah, but you can't quite put you in a box. And like a guy like this, like I wouldn't expect you to have like soft eyes. And like, it's just interesting, you know, because like I wonder where that kind of comes from. But like, I know what he's been through.
Yeah.
That guy will fuck you up. Don't get it twisted. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But again, I think just support around you. Like, I know you like me for who I am. Mm-hmm. You know, I know the people we work around like me for who I am.
Dude, that's a great point. Like, putting people around you who let you be yourself is huge, dude. It's huge.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this just comes from some of your own wisdom, some maturity, just getting tired of trying to be something that you're not, and then just understanding like it's okay that that's not who you are. And you know, like I know Kate talks a little bit, and she's just like, her friends will go out or something, and she's just not in the mood to go downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, I cannot believe that when I was younger, I used to do this on like a Thursday and a Tuesday. And she's like, I can't even do it once every 6 months. I'm like, well, yeah, we got kiddos and stuff. She's like, no, I'm not tired. I'm just like not in a place where I want to do that. I'd rather stay home, enjoy my family, and like watch a movie with them. And I'm like, yeah, like, but it's nice to just have friends, whether they're still doing that stuff or not, to just allow you to be yourself and just be in a comfortable environment with who you surround yourself with. You know, that just allow it to be okay. You know, because it's a lot harder when no one around you is encouraging that. You know, I'm not sure what kids are going through nowadays. You know, that's a hard one.
Yep.
I'm not sure what kids are going through nowadays and stuff like that. But, you know, it's important. And I think when kids are younger, this is where, not to get off on a tangent here, but this is where social media gets so crazy with the bullying and kids just talking shit and saying dumb things. And now it doesn't just stop at school, or, you know, it doesn't just stop with your circle of friends. Like something silly or a joke, it's past the entire school, who's friends on social media, and they don't even know how to deal with that. And I think a lot of times that really hinders kids, which makes our jobs as adults, you know, to really encourage everything that kids do, whether we think it's nerdy or not.
You had a great point today. We were talking about sports, kids sports, and you know, parents who are making their kids, you know, play sports, or, you know, not so mine didn't really encourage it, nor did I ask to play any sports or anything, but they were kind of like, hey, as long as you're doing something, we're happy, you know, which I think is a good approach, because I was doing something. I wouldn't just sit at home and, you know, watch TV all day and eat Pop-Tarts.
I love Pop-Tarts.
Dude, right. Cinnamon sugar Pop-Tarts with a glass of milk, bro.
Cinnamon sugar.
Oh, bro,
with all the Pop-Tarts out there, that's like the one
that one, and then your strawberry typical.
I bet you're a missionary, aren't you? I'm sorry.
Sometimes.
I'm sorry.
I'll finish that way.
I'm sorry.
I'll finish that way.
Out of all the flavors of Pop-Tarts, you go to the original.
No, that's not original. Dude, how about they have like strawberry unfrosted. Whoever's eating unfrosted Pop-Tarts out there, you have big problems.
Unless you're like making your own. I don't know.
Unfrosted though? Ugh.
Dude, they got Pop-Tart cereal.
I saw that at Target.
I digress.
I saw it. I took a picture. I walked right by.
I had the whole fucking box. Now we know our personalities, right? Like, now we know who's cautious and who likes to buy a ticket to the game, and who likes to just jump in and carve up and get in the fucking game, right? They were amazing.
But talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
You know, like kids in sports, I think is a big thing, and we're talking about being yourself and everything, so this kind of ties into it.
I saw this thing, and I'm sure it's happening a lot, but really cool. So this football team, I guess this kid with like autism or something like that. And don't quote me on the story. I didn't read the entire story, but apparently a kid with autism was having a birthday party. He's like eight years old or something, and nobody came. And somehow, some way, I'm sure that parent has an older kid or something, but the high school, looked like the high school football team caught wind of it from a parent. Who knows, right? But caught wind of it, and the entire football team showed up to that birthday party for that kiddo. That's what sports is about right there, man. It's just those coaches and whoever brought it to their attention and just went and did some good. And it's like, oh, the cool kids came to my birthday party. The football players came to my birthday party. That's what sports are about, in conjunction with learning how to lose your ass and get your ass back up, man, and get back in the fight. And then sometimes you win. Sometimes you get back up and you win. Or sometimes you lose and you can't change it. You just better get better next week so you never have to feel like that again. And those are great things, and I love those lessons. But in addition to that, you have the competition side of effort and passion and things like that. So not so much predicated upon what team you're on or winning or losing, but just your own personal mindset on stuff. And, you know, I talk about this with Kate. Well, we used to talk about it a lot, and especially when we were pregnant with a boy. And she's like, oh, man, you think he'll play pro ball too? You know, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, oh, you don't want him to? And I'm like, I don't know. He's not even here yet. You know, and she's like, oh, well, but you don't want it? And I'm like, it doesn't matter what I want. Like, yeah, would it be cool if my boy played for the Yankees? Well, yeah, of course, right? That's a good day. But what's most important, man, is I got to just expose him to sports. And I just want to see how he evolves. I just want to see how he grows into it. And if he starts wanting to stay after late, like after practice, or if he comes home and wants to take more swings, or if he's getting that like competitive edge, now I know I can push him more. Now I know, like, hey, man, it's in his blood. You know, just like anything else, you know. And then, yeah, cool. But if he's just a big old dope and he loves it and has fun, but hey, after the game they lose their ass, and he's more excited about the fruit snacks than the score of the game. Yeah. Guess what, man? That's okay too. And here's why. Because being a part of that team, and here's what I would not accept. Just full disclosure. He's not going to not practice and just be some dope and then cost the game.
Goof off at practice all
and
the
you're
time,
not going to like make your team lose because you're goofing off. If you end up being the last strikeout of the game, you tried your best, hey, sometimes you lose. But if you're being a dipshit and you just don't care and you're just a boner running around the field, no, we're not going to have that. Like if you're playing, you're playing. Apply yourself in practice. You know, be loyal to your teammates, apply yourself. But if he's there, he's applying himself, but the loss doesn't bother him and he loves fucking fruit snacks and, you know, didn't care about the score, great, man, because he's still going to learn things from being a part of a team. He'll still learn from some failure. And if it's just a great time to be in Little League, I'm not going to ruin that, man. Dude, and I had friends, you know, I played on a super competitive baseball team through Little League. We were in the Little League World Series. There's a secondary one like in Steamboat. You know, so not as big as the worldwide one in the Midwest, but we were good. Yeah. And I had a lot of friends, man. Like once we were all converting and going to high school, dude, I promise you, almost half of the team I played Little League with, all the way up through 8th grade, they were done. They were done. And dude, even worse, they were good. Yeah. They were good, but they just didn't want to play anymore.
Like overexposed or what?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if they could really articulate. They just were tired of it. They want to try something new. And there was a couple guys that wanted to get into football, didn't do it. And some guys just started lifting weight and other stuff, man. But bottom line was they were just done with playing, you know, 120 baseball games as a, you know, 14-year-old, 13-year-old. It's just too hard. And that's too hard on you anyway. But, yeah, man, there was some parents, and looking back on it, there were some parents that just, man, they just really were hard on them, like super hard. And I remember my dad – my mom would come to every game too. When I was younger, we had, you know, my sisters were around too. And so my dad sometimes would take me on his motorcycle, give me to games, especially Glenwood Springs, Steamboat, stuff that was far. And my dad was never mad after a Little League baseball game, ever, dude. And he was never overly happy when I hit like a bomb. He would cheer in the game. Yeah. I remember him going, yeah, you know, or hey, good job, you know. But if we lost, like he never got mad at me. And again, you know, looking back on that stuff now, you can kind of apply it because now I'm a father. But I think that's huge, man, is just kind of, you know, like when you take a puppy out and you want to take, I want a new hunting dog. Well, go out there and expose him. And if that dog is gun shy, it ain't him. If you shoot that gun off and he's still by you and he's focused and he's waiting to go grab that kill, different story. Same thing. Like just let kids kind of gravitate.
Dude, and that's so good, man, because I think that really just helps build self-esteem in kids who they are. Because here's the thing, if your dad had overly celebrated the win or, you know, the home run that you hit, now you think, okay, if I don't do this, dad's not happy, right? Or if he had done the opposite and he was overly mad whenever you guys lost, now you're terrified of losing and you're probably making bad decisions during the game that aren't going to lead to good things because you're trying to make dad happy.
Or making dad happy is all that matters, and you're not realizing that you know, the entire game matters. And yeah, that home run was great. It's a contribution to the team to put your best foot forward and win, but it's not the only thing that matters.
Right,
you know?
right.
There's just some things there, man. And we have mentioned this phrase almost every podcast, right? Most men living in quiet desperation. That quiet desperation, man, it seems like it just wakes the fuck up when people start having kids. And then their kids are kind of good at something, and like things that they chose not to do or chase or accomplish or at least attempt to accomplish in life. they're starting to live through their kids a bit.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's actually toxic versus like, and don't get me wrong, man, I'm not content with my life. Like I've done everything I've wanted to do, not even close, but I'm on my path. I'm on my own path. That's different than my son's path. And I'm going to continue to do my path while he's doing his. And I'm going to mentor him and guide him the best that I can. But that's his and this is mine.
Right.
And I've got to continue to understand and be able to like separate myself and just understanding like my role. And we're going to kind of get into this today with leadership and just understanding your role of influence. Like, hey, am I the main effort right now? And is everything my call? Or am I a back role? Am I support? You know, like, should I be telling my son everything about the game? Or should I let him understand what it feels like to have a coach outside of your dad? Like, hey, if I'm not your coach, well, I should expect you to listen to your coach, right? That's what he's there for. I should let you go through those trials and tribulations and just learn the game and just understand that, hey, I'm here and I can support you and I can give you my advice or my 2 cents if you ask for it. But hey, this is your path and I want you to figure that out. You can't always be falling back on like, well, what does dad say? Or if you're up there on the mound and you're pitching, I'm not calling your pitches. If your coach is calling pitches, your catcher's calling pitches, don't look at me. Just play the game, but you're doing your kiddos a service by that and just understanding like I'm not the main effort. This is not my movie.
Well, and part of the problems that I think when kids grow up in an environment not like that, to where they are trying to make their parents happy and you know, when they were growing up, everything that they, you know, did good was extremely celebrated. You know, everything that did bad was extremely, you know, frowned upon or whatever. What ends up happening is I think your kids grow up and, you know, you see this a lot. I think you see it a lot in millennials and our age. And we are technically millennials, but Gen X, Gen Y, whatever.
You shut your mouth.
But what you see a lot is I think people don't even really know who they are because they haven't had a chance to explore who they are because they've always been trying to be somebody else for someone else.
Or they're tapped out.
Or they're tapped out.
Like,
right.
for example, not to get into the laughing stock I was the other week with my drowning story. God damn it.
The laughing stock.
I got messages from a buddy of ours, Scott, jerk. I finally got him listening. I'm like, hey, man, check the podcast out when you get time. And he's like, dude, I'm a moron. He's a phenomenal lender. But he's like, oh, I'm a moron. I don't know. Where's this thing at? I finally showed him where podcasts were on his iPhone.
It amazes me how people still don't know that.
So he gets on there. And, of course, the first one he clicks on is that one where I'm going over my drowning story. And for the entire day yesterday, I got text message after I think he was texting me in real time as he was listening to my nightmare.
That's funny.
And how funny it was. Here's the deal. Those drill instructors let me up. Okay, like if they would have just kept shoving me into the water, no matter how bad I want it, at some point, like just the mechanics that are going on right now, I'm gonna die. Okay, eventually I'm just gonna stop because I can't fucking breathe because you held me under too long. Same thing when it comes to like making your parents happy or anyone else. If they're never happy or they're always trying to like push you to the next thing and it's not even your thing, eventually you're gonna throw your hands up, right, metaphorically, and just like, man, you're just never happy. And this is where, as parents, you really got to, you know, in my opinion, my humble adult dad opinion, you got to make sure you really define and communicate with your kids, especially communicating with your kids how they make you happy. Like if I talk to Chloe and she worked hard, I don't care if she got a C, right? Kate cares. That's different. That's some Asian shit. Get a C doesn't matter. You could have worked on it for 10 years. Doesn't matter. But for me, I really try to like, you know, when I talk to Chloe and I tell her I'm proud, I'm really trying to keep it within the scope of like how hard you worked or how committed you've been. Or, you know, like, man, she loves mixed martial arts and she's really good at it. And building this company, man, with Kate working and you and I grinding, she was out this last year. She wasn't in it. We just, hey, and this is the other realistic part why I'm so happy that we're documenting what we're doing before we're too fancy and we've been too successful and we're unrelatable. No, man, I gained body fat this year, right? Like, yeah, I put on 20 pounds. Some of it maybe muscle. A lot of it was like, yeah, man, it was 11:30 coming home. I ate Taco Bell.
Yep.
Yeah, I had top ramen. Yeah, I had a Snickers. I didn't give a fuck. Like, we were growing a company. Like, that matters, right? And not everything... You don't always have to max everything out all the time.
Well,
Sometimes
you can't. Yeah.
Something, but now that we're steady, business is great. We're leveraging our team. I've got more time to get back and get focused on diet and exercise. And of course, I'm responding well. I'm getting exactly where I want to be. Right. Well, Chloe was super, super, like at first she was excited, and then she's super nervous to get back into Muay Thai. You know, and we're going to a really cool spot. I've got a buddy who was in the UFC for a long time, and he's got some good buddies. You know, Donald Cerrone and some of those guys that I've met before through him, and cool cats, really cool cats. But like they really teach you there. And just like you saw her on this podcast, it sounded fun, but then she got super nervous. And when I first got home today, you know, and then when we were talking about her coming and doing this, at first she was like, "Well, I don't have to do it." Like, no, and I'm like, "Hey, stop. You said you're going to do it last week, right? You said Monday." Mm-hmm. "Oh, I know, but no." And I'm like, "Hey, stop. You're doing it." So grab your notebook, get it all out, start thinking what you want to tell people. I'm like, let's do it. Those are lessons. And then, you know, her getting back into Muay Thai, like, when she's like super nervous, it's first of all, it's like, hey, I get it. One, me living and experiencing life for myself, I can speak to why she's nervous. Mm-hmm. I sympathize. Hey, I get it. But here's what we're doing, right? Like 2, 3, 5 years from now, you won't even be thinking about the day you were nervous getting back into it. But the bottom line is, this is teaching you how to defend yourself. It's teaching you some good mental strength. It's getting you around your friends again, you know, or new friends. You know, these are all new friends at this new spot. And it's good for her. Mm-hmm. So she's gone 3 times, loves it. Mm-hmm. She got over it. But my conversations with her are about the commitment, overcoming some of that nervousness. Or today I'll talk to her when we're done about the podcast. And hey, great job. You were nervous. You organized your thoughts. Mm-hmm. Great job. Like for me, it's not whether it's Muay Thai or baseball or whatever. It's about, hey, Dad's happy when I do what I say I'm going to do, and when I try my best. It's not about a failure. It's how you come back from a failure. Right. But you know, I think I'm getting a little long-winded on this one here, but I think just really dialing in as a parent, what happy or what, you know, what makes us happy as a parent is important. And it's on us as parents it's not on a kid. It's on us as parents to really communicate things like, hey, Chloe, you came on the podcast today and we were kind of messing around, but listen, you were nervous, right? Yeah. Right. You know, but hey, listen, you got your thoughts organized. You stood next to Eli. You calmed your breath. You didn't talk too fast. Hey, great job, kid. Let's do it again sometime. Mm-hmm. And just communicate. And hey, Daddy was really happy with you. Mm-hmm. Not because you were on the podcast, because you were nervous and you overcame some stuff. And I think that correlates. I don't care if Cash plays baseball, dude. Mm-hmm. I care where his effort's at and his commitment's at, because I know wholeheartedly, man, even if Cash becomes the greatest baseball player ever, and he's the #1 recruited kid out of high school and blows a fucking knee out, you're not playing baseball. Maybe. Better. Okay, do surgery. Yeah. And let's just take this hypothetical here, because I can already hear is there surgery? There's modern medicine. All right, got it. Hypothetically,
you're never playing again.
He just never comes back, you know. He can't play the same. Now what? Like your whole life's over? And so what qualities did you learn from the process that's going to make you a good human being? Right.
Dude.
Big deal.
And so people that are going to be listening to us, I think a lot of our listeners are, you know, we know a lot of them are entrepreneurs, business owners. They're building their brand. And the concern that comes, Fat and Will are making faces at each other and distracted me. Yeah, there. You're flicking your tongues at each other right now.
Wow. Buddy fucker.
I thought you guys were about to say something serious, and then they just start like making googly eyes at each other.
Just stay focused.
And I'm supposed to have a focused conversation with someone who's flicking his tongue at somebody else. But anyway.
Allegedly.
Building their brand, being themselves. For me, it started in small doses of, you know, me just kind of exposing little things on my stories. You know, I'm cautious about, you know, what goes on my Facebook, or not cautious, but I'm aware of what goes on my Facebook versus what goes on my Instagram versus what goes on my stories and Twitter. What the fuck? Don't even use that at all. But I started just doing little snippets here and there on my stories, right? Mm-hmm. It was kind of a safe zone. And then two things. The alleviation of pressure that I got internally of like, like I finally
that's what I was talking about. The freedom,
about myself.
The freedom of being yourself.
I felt that, man. Like I felt that was a real thing. I felt that. And then the engagement that I got from people of just saying like, holy shit, dude, like I had no idea. That's awesome. Me too. You know, and then it just makes this domino effect. And then, so if you guys are concerned about that, like just start with those doses. Like understand, you don't want to fly off the deep end and all of a sudden start being this character that you think you are, but you're not really, you know, but you're trying to fit a role and, you know, have some shock factor on Instagram or whatever. But just starting with those small doses, I think, is really good. And then, you know, you're going to see the response, and then
just figuring out who you are. Like
figuring out who you are.
We've had a lot, like, you know, on my Instagram, I've had a lot of like 18 to 25 just interacting a ton. And I like that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stigma about millennials. And millennials, if you're out there, I don't got that stigma. I think there's shitbags in every generation.
A lot of them are in tune, man.
A lot of them are. And I get it. There's a lot that aren't. And here's my thing. Millennials are like the first generation that have just been exposed to scale because they're the first generation growing up with internet, like at scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, you know, baby boomer generation or any other ones, well, the internet didn't exist. So you didn't know nationally all the shitbag baby boomers. You just didn't, right? Like, and I'm not going to get into, overall baby boomers are better. Like, who fucking knows? The bottom line is millennial or not, there's some really good ones, and we're having a lot of engagement. So I think, you know, especially on my Instagram. So if you're in that age bracket, you know, like or if you're even younger, part of this is, hey, go try some stuff. You might not really know. Like we're talking about a lot about like, hey, be yourself.
But who are you?
Who's that?
Dude,
right?
Especially if you grew up trying to fit into what your parents expected you to be.
Right. So just figuring out who you are. And guess what? I don't think that ever kind of goes away. Right. So first of all, if you're out there figuring out who you are, congrats. Like just do that. And if something's not for you, don't force it. I got some good friends. Okay, hey, look, keep your friends. Just don't necessarily do that career or do that activity if it's not for you, right? Like, I'm not the weed guy, right?
Yeah.
I don't respond well to it. You know, like you and I have smoked a couple times. You introduced me to some stuff, and hey, cool. I get super giggly, and I'm going to eat a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
You can write a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Difference here. Doesn't make me less cool. Nothing, man. It's just not my thing. But so if you're out there, especially if you're younger and you're figuring out who you are, like just enjoy that process and be true to yourself. If you don't like something, if it's not for you, great. If it is, great. And then here's the other thing. I don't think that ever goes away, okay? Because I went from sports to the Marine Corps. Well, who am I as a Marine? And then who am I as a leader in the Marine Corps? Who am I as an instructor in the Marine Corps? And then out. Now I'm doing some government work. Hey, now I'm a police officer. Who am I as a cop? Right? Oh, that's gone. Oh, so now I just don't carry guns. Well, I don't carry any open carry.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, right. Like I'm strapped to the gills. Don't get it twisted. But I went from all that to like, fitness company. What? Who am I there? I'm starting over with something. Like I'm reinventing myself.
You're constantly evolving.
Like I'm still me.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like
different
rebooting.
Versions of you.
100%.
Yeah,
and then
different
like,
versions.
hey, I'll leave that. Now we're doing real estate. So I think it's a great quality to learn. And just the more you can be accepting of being yourself and being true to yourself, the easier that process gets of like things being for you or not being for you. And you're not distracted by all the noise and what people are telling you should be. You just kind of like following the path that works for you.
Yes.
Right?
And if I was talking to a 26-year-old the other day, person in title, and we were kind of having this similar conversation.
Don't time him out.
Similar conversation, but I was like, you're a different person than you were when you were 18, right? No. No, I've been through so much. Like 18, I had it figured out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
no, you didn't.
And I'm like,
is this a title rep?
Yeah. And I was like, so you're the same person you are now as when you were 18. And they were full of confidence. Yeah. And it's like I had been through, and they kept going about how much they'd been through and how mature they were in 18. And I'm like, I can't even have this conversation anymore. If you think that this is first of all, you're saying yes. Second of all, you're proud to answer that question. Yes. You haven't changed. And
maybe he doesn't want to.
Like, what?
But this is, excuse me.
Yeah.
But, this is where everything is subjective. Like if you're happy with where you're at, and that's okay too.
But that's the other thing. When you're clearly not happy where you're at, do some more shit. Try some different things.
Well, and
put yourself around some different people.
And even if you're within the same career, like you don't want to, you want to improve yourself and improve the people you're around. And then, but here's the deal: sometimes maybe she hasn't, right? But maybe when she has a kid, it will.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a rude awakening or a change, and then maybe she'll have it then. Like I've had a lot of changes in my life, and I've kind of done a lot of shit. Now that's just my book. And dude, but it doesn't have to be everyone's book.
And you're super self-aware, and you think a lot. And I know it's hard for people to get in their own head without it turning super negative. And it's hard for people to be hard on themselves without letting it go to a really dark place. So I think most people try not to do that at all, or just fall in the habit of not being introspective and just assuming that everything anybody did that pissed them off was the other person's fault, and everything else was just other people's fault, so they don't ever look inside. And I know with you, dude, like we've got every conversation we have, especially if, the desired outcome was less than optimal, you're like, you're thinking about that shit for months, dude. Like, you know, you'll even a regular accountability meeting with an agent or something, and they say something or they let us know that they feel a certain way. You're thinking about those words for months, months and months and months. And you're, you know, and you're looking at it from all different angles, and you're evaluating, how could this have gone better? How can I talk to this person different? Like, how can I hit this person? And people just don't do that, dude. They don't do that at all.
Right. And again, man, that's just completely predicated upon the great leadership I had in the Marine Corps. You know, and then I guess to my credit, humble brag, is my desire to have the integrity that my leadership that was around me knows I'm a good dude.
Yes.
Like we talk about I talk about Tosh a lot. I see that guy maybe twice a year at best, right? And I don't rate all of his time, nor should he be giving me all of his time, right? But I really feel good about myself when I can take something from his podcast or something from a personal conversation and then go apply it, because I feel like, hey, if I'm doing what guys I look up to are doing, I'm on the right path as a person, not just with money, not with this podcast, not with money, not with getting to a number one team in the world. Those things are going to come over time, and some of that's just out of your control. Okay, like there are some great, phenomenal athletes that just never make it to the bigs. They just didn't get seen for whatever reason, or they didn't get put on the right team. Or, dude, there's a couple guys, man. I remember a couple colleges. I'm not going to name any names so we don't make a sports argument, but I've seen some really good quarterbacks get drafted to the NFL and get put onto a team that's just not their system. And now they're trying to play quarterback a different way, and they're a West Coast offense, and it just never fit. And they get sacked, they get hurt, they blow a shoulder, and they're there 2 or 3 years, and now you don't even know who they are. And you're like, wow, like that guy could have maybe a Hall of Famer at some point if it went the right way, and it just didn't go that way. So you can't control everything. But for me, what I can control is my behavior, my control and how I see myself, my control of how well I reflect and try to better myself and be honest with myself. And when I'm looking up to guys like Tosh and I'm watching what they're doing and I'm listening to the advice that they give, and I, with integrity, say that I apply it, I feel like I'm a better dude. I feel like even if it's a rough day, I feel like I'm approaching it the right way, because I also understand, like, man, just some things are just going to be out of your control, and how you deal with them or what you learn from them is going to be up to you.
Well, that's how, and that's what I think makes a true like alpha male per se, because I know
it's not a
people,
beard.
Yeah, well, people are going to look at somebody like you, and of course they're trying to judge, or just humans do. They're going to judge you right out of the gate before they know you, and that's why I want to make a point to bring this up, because like you are outspoken, you are decisive, you are intimidating, and you have this like presence about you, and people think that, you know, oh, I'm sure initially egotistical, set in his ways, won't budge, doesn't listen, his way is the only way. And that could not be further from the truth. Despite all those other things, you know, despite your physical appearance, and you do have this presence about you, like, and as much as Will talks, and he'll joke about this, but it's fucking true. As much as he talks, he's listening twice as much.
I pay attention to the point where it's borderline neurotic.
And you think on it, and you dwell on things.
In a good way. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot to comment on that. And when you were talking about, man, you'll sit on that stuff for months. Understand, I'm not dwelling.
Yes.
I'm not crying over spilled milk. I'm just taking it, and I'm
analyzing. Analyzing is the word.
Analyzing. Glad you said that's a great word. Glad you said that. As much as I cut you off, I'm glad you cut me off with like a really good word. Because that's exactly what I'm doing. It's a great word. And I also understand it's a process. Like how I think about something right now might be a little bit different a week from now. Sure. And if I'm picking up a vibe, or if I'm getting something, like you say, from an accountability meeting from someone on our team, like, all right, you know, and then, hey, we address it or kind of like work through it, cool. But I also know, like, I'm going to watch you for weeks and see if you kind of like revert back to something. Because then I'm going to start picking up on like character flaws. Like you just can't help it. You're just, that's just you, you know? Or, okay, they got 3 deals going on again. And, they're doing this. Oh, you're just not good at multitasking. You get super stressed out. Why is that? Oh, you don't think you can, like, whatever, you know what I mean? But just paying attention to all of that and really trying to dial in what something means. And you're not going to know at face value. Like if I pick up on something, you know, from Fat today, I'm not, I'm not necessarily addressing it today unless it's like funny, like you guys are fucking off or something. I'm like, but usually like I'll kind of pay attention to it. I'm gonna try to recognize a pattern.
Yes. And
they go, hey man, everything good? Like you know, hey, how you been? What's up? What's new? And give them an opportunity, like say, like, yeah, man, like, oh hey, my mom. I remember, hey, my mom hurt her back. You know, and or just you can kind of see when things kind of like, or I can kind of tell when Fat's got too much on his plate. Not because he's not handling it. It's because Fat, first and foremost, just he's not the dude to say no. He's that guy that's like, yep, got it, because he fucking loves us like we love him, and he's just on board. It's just not in him to say no. Okay, but he does, because I can read his body language. Even you're picking up on some of that. We start reading his body language. We can kind of tell if something's stressing him a little bit, and then it's on us as leaders and partners to make sure that we openly talk about the workload and what's going on and making sure that he's good. And we have to address it because it's hard for him to say that, but that's okay. I'm not mad at a guy that, you know, can't say no. I'm not mad at anyone that's anything.
Yeah.
All I care about is that I understand you. And if I understand you and if you'll communicate back with me, I'm cool that I got to like throw the towel in, I guess, per se, or like, I'm cool if I'm the one that has to start the conversation. Go, hey, I know we've been busy. Like, how you feeling? What's up? Don't tell me anything good. I'm okay as long as like when I get there, you communicate with me.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing for me. But yeah, it's important, you know, to pay attention to those things.
So I'll say this. So I'm a firm believer that a great leader will always be extremely good at listening to people that he's leading. But that doesn't mean just listening to the words that are coming out of their mouth necessarily. There's a lot more things that you need to be listening to. And like you said, the body language.
Has your wife ever been mad at you?
The things that no, never.
And when she is, does she go, Eli, I'm pretty calm right now, but there's a couple things that are bothering me, and tomorrow I'm going to lose my goddamn mind on you. No, there's usually like, hey, babe, how you doing? Good. Hey, how's your day? Good.
That's the funny part.
And I'm being and listen, women out there, respect.
But you know,
we're
the look.
idiots.
Every guy knows the look. And it's not, a lot of times it's not even a bad look. It's just a one little thing they do with their eye, but every guy knows that.
Or it's just thick hair. But there's just not as much eye contact.
People are used to seeing that in their kids and their wife, but for some reason when they go to work and they're looking at their team and they're leading their team, they turn that part off. They don't catch those, or they do and they just don't acknowledge it, or they're just not paying enough attention.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is there, but you are really good at those things, and you'll tell me things about somebody on our team that I don't see at all until you mention it, and then I start paying attention, and then I start seeing the things, and then magically 4 weeks later there's an issue or something comes up about it. But
I don't necessarily, and here's why. Like if it's come to the point where you're telling me about it, you've like that person's already prepared what they want to say.
Yeah.
Right. And I also, and this is not to be pessimistic, I understand that most people are not very self-aware. But if it comes time to a point where like we have to have a meeting with somebody and call them into the office, right? Okay. But now like they've had time to collect their thoughts and think what's bothering them or think about what they've been doing or not doing versus like me just in real time observing. And then it's more of a conversation of like, so here's what I've noticed. How do you feel? Like when you're in the meeting the other day, and I was like, hey, you know, people are trusting you with the most expensive purchases of their life, correct? Okay, like do you deserve that? Right? Or like, hey, like you want this career for the next 30 years, and you want this career to fund your why. Whatever your why is in life, you want this thing to fund that. And you chose this career to allow you to have a certain lifestyle that you want to have for 30 years. And you put in 3 hours a day. Or you're not doing the things that, you know, they're not fun. And this isn't anybody specific on our team. Our team is pretty locked on, man. But when I said, hey, some of you, you know, could be better at this or could be better at that. And I go, hey, if you don't think I've been to your open house driving a different car, you're wrong. If you don't think I know some of you don't door knock your surrounding area, you're wrong. If you don't think some of you don't put out enough signs, you're wrong. And just some of like the looks on their face. You ever come home late and your dad's waiting up and you're like, like that? Can everybody see me?
Yeah.
That's exaggerated. I'm trying to be funny to make Fat laugh to see if he'll smile. Lets me know he's in a good mood. It was kind of like that with some of them, right? And then it's like, and then Wyatt, such a great kid. Cool kid, man. He's working hard, you know, and he's overcoming some challenges. Great kid. So I'll use his name because I got nothing bad to say, but it was so not cute. That's the wrong word. But it was. I felt such like a big brother because he goes, I could be doing more signs. I was like, Wyatt, fucking thanks, man. I appreciate that because he's just like, everybody's saying like, oh man, am I doing enough signs? Or am I doing enough knocks? Are you? Are you doing enough knocks? Are you doing any knocks? Are you doing enough signs? And like, here's the deal. It's not for me. Eli and I like, hey, we do our own deals. We run our own show. We don't need anybody on this team to be making money to feed my kids. I'm not giving you that leverage. We don't get leads from lenders. I'm not giving you that leverage. You and I are going to go market and do events and speak with our sphere and our friends and our family and people from the podcast or wherever it comes from. You and I are going to procure what provides for our family. I will never give that type of responsibility up to someone else and then, and then leverage that. Man, I'm not going to give that leverage away because that allows me to just be outside of someone else's circle. If I'm critiquing some of our team and I'm emotionally involved because if you're not making any money, now I'm not making money and I got bills to pay, I'm emotionally invested in your process just as much as you are. That's like having a bodybuilding coach that's doing the same bodybuilding show as you are. Right. And his head's just as fucked as yours is. That's just not good timing, right?
And again, what that does, to tie it back, is that allows you to be who you are. Yeah. Because if you're worried about acting a certain way because a lender is paying for our leads, or if you're worried about, not pissing off an agent because they're doing a lot of deals and we need their money to pay our stupid car payments, you're gonna change who you are. Right?
100%, man. Yeah. And again, it's like, hey, everything I'm talking to you guys about, it's all specifically geared toward the goals you set.
Yes.
I didn't tell you to do 24 deals a year. I didn't say you should. I'm not saying that at all. Like, I want to know where you're at and what you want to do, and I want you to be proficient, whether it's 1 or 100. I want you to be proficient, but I'm gonna give you some standards based off of like what you want for your goals. And if your goals is to be successful and be this, celebrity in Denver, I'm all for it, man. I love it. But if you can't even put out signs or door knock a surrounding area, or okay, well, it's because I don't like open houses. They're not for me. Okay, what are you gonna do instead? It's not, okay, so we're just not doing that. Okay, exactly. Well, you got to do something to be successful. Okay, so you don't want to do that? Cool, man. That's fine. What are you doing? You better have just an idea, not just some excuses. And, it just, being a leader, it's very dynamic, man. There's no template to it.
Right. Well, and
right, this is not Canva.
It's
not plug and play.
It's extremely, the word leader and leadership is it's
mentor. The word leader and mentor are just as common as beards and IPAs right now.
Leader is it is, and it's gonna replace the word entrepreneur. Like, entrepreneur has been the word for the past 5 years.
Replacing it.
Leader is the new entrepreneur, and everyone wants to be a leader, and everyone's starting to call themselves leader, and leadership this and that. And I'll tell you guys, man, I thought I was a leader prior to running this company with Will. Fuck, I learned quickly that I was not leading. Right? Like, there's a difference between people looking up to you because you make them feel good all the time, and people looking up to you because you make them better, and you're able to bear the responsibility of not being liked. But you make someone better.
Yeah, and it's very rare that you're not liked.
In the moment, you're not liked. You're not liked in the moment.
The biggest thing as a leader is your intent.
That's hard, bro. And as someone who's like a people pleaser, and I like to see people happy, and I like, I like situations to end up like, okay, we're all good. Everyone's happy. I like keeping everyone's best interests in mind. Man, that was the hardest thing for me as a leader, is like not being liked in the moment, to make them better in the long run, and then ultimately I'm liked in the long run, but that's hard, man. In the long run,
I disagree. Hear me out.
Yeah,
I disagree because at some point, if you're just being buddy, then all of a sudden they're not successful, they don't like you.
That's what I'm saying.
Now they're going to be pointing the finger at you.
In the short term, not liked. But in the long term, they'll ultimately like you because of it, because you made them better. That's what I'm saying. Long
and that's
term.
Why intent matters. Yeah, big time.
Where I was stuck, dude, I was stuck making people happy temporarily, and they won't fucking remember me 30 years from now.
Right.
Had I not changed, they would not remember me 30 years from now. You feel good in the moment talking to Eli. Okay, hey, it's all right, man. We all make mistakes. Hey, we'll get better. But then you don't actually get better because you didn't feel enough pain from me. But
true.
Now,
but here's like here's the one step further with that you're getting really good at is, all right, like, hey, we're gonna call a spade. Hey, you suck, and that's not how we talk. But just to keep the flow here with the podcast, calling a spade and addressing the situation. Cool. But then it's about, great, so what do we do from here? Subordinate, employee, hey, what are your thoughts? Hey, now that I've said this, right, what are your thoughts on that? How are you perceiving this? Or ask that first. Hey, how do you think your open houses are going? Let's chat about them. Give me your thoughts. And then, all right, cool, I'm going to give you my thoughts. Hey, so I've been checking in on everyone, and I haven't seen you put any signs out. Hey, but maybe there's some rhyme and reason. What's the explanation for that? I got none. All right, so what are we doing? I suck, dude. I know. I get it. All right, so is it that we just are incapable of doing open houses and it's just not your thing? Because here's the deal, bro. If it's just not your thing, cool. Let's find something that is your thing, but then we got to do that. I'm okay if you don't do open houses, but what are we doing? What's your thing? How can I help you? Like, put your stuff, put yourself out there within your element where you feel better, and let's get you moving. So you got to help them. You can't just be the person calling people shit is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
you can't just be, well, I'm the leader, right? I'm the boss. So now I get like point my fucking finger and, oh, that's fucked up. What? Now what? Even if it is, okay. But then, okay, now what? Right? Like, you've got to be able to provide value and help them get to that next step. Because I'll be honest with you, man, one of the hardest parts about growing anything is direction. Like, yeah, I have ambition to do 30 deals a year, 50 deals a year, and I want to be this and be that. Like, cool. Reverse engineering that and just figuring out, like, is that even the right goal right now? Or should my goal be, let me just get my first deal?
Yeah.
Let me just feel how that goes. But people that are newer or people that haven't had a good process before to give them direction, you can't just expect them to know that. And guess what? You signed up to be a leader. Whatever you're running right now, you signed up to be that leader. It's your responsibility that you set people up for success, right? And it's nowadays it's probably cliche. I heard it in the Marine Corps, and this one stuck with me because it actually was said in a manner that mattered around men that mattered. And it's, leaders aren't measured upon themselves. It's about how many other leaders that you make. How much impact do you have? When you leave the Marine Corps or when you leave a unit, how many other leaders are now there that you built that now go lead Marines, right? That's how they measure us, and I respect that. And I don't know if that type of thing is cliche with all these quotes getting thrown around, on social media and stuff, but it's not cliche. It's really true. And on our team, we want thinkers and we want leaders and we want them to be successful, but with that comes a responsibility of like, yeah, cool, I get the luxury per se of calling your shit, right? And hey, lean in and be that person. But if I'm not guiding you with some tools and some direction to be better and address what you're not doing appropriately, well, I'm not making this situation better. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of responsibility on leadership.
Dude,
that's huge.
It's not pretty. It's not
fucking pretty. No,
it's not pretty. No. It's painful a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But man,
and just full disclosure, man, like, you're doing great, right? Like, you're coming into your own skin, and you're, because again, you went through a transition. Like, yeah, I know who I am. Oh, but now I got to be this like leader. Oh shit, is important.
After thinking I was already a leader,
right?
But then you're around a real leader, and you're like, oh, God.
Well, and I'm still aspiring. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, I think I do adequate, but here's the deal: I've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah. Well, and
the
through
some
people
extreme
and
situations.
the people that you are around and your situations.
And I still seek guidance.
Yes.
I'm still
yes.
Tosh, if you're listening, I call that dude like every day. He never answers. And I don't blame him, dude. He never answers. Well, no, that's not true. He'll answer when he's got time, but he already knows, like, if he answers my call, Tosh, you better have 20 minutes because I'm going to say it's 4. It ain't 4, bro. I'm talking to you for 20. I'm telling you how much I love you and I respect you. And hey, I learned this from your podcast. Awesome. What are you doing? Like stupid shit, right? Yeah. So I get it. And he's with his, he's busy, but I'm still seeking guidance. Even though, like, maybe I've got enough tools in the toolbox for now, but that's not the right approach, right? Like, you always want to be prepared, and that's something from the Marine Corps too, man. You always want to be prepared for that next battle. And imagine the gap between, the Gulf War and all that crap, and then nothing, and then overnight, Iraq and Afghanistan happened. Imagine those guys that were in the Marine Corps for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, 15, that didn't hit that last combat operation that was barely even, it was 4 days. Gulf was like a 96-hour event. Nothing, it was done and gone. Imagine guys that are coming in that just have to battle complacency and be prepared at any moment, right? Like there's a lot of strengths. So for us as leaders, you can't become good enough. You're always adapting and evolving because this battlefield of business is changing. Experiences are changing. The type of person that we get on the team is changing. So I have to constantly seek, that leadership. And what I look for people on our team is the same thing, that they're seeking that leadership, but they're also becoming resourceful and finding the best way to tackle things and finding their way to approach a situation because they've got to do it for themselves. I love that, man. And I think it's a testament to success. Kid we spoke to the other day, Austin, out in the Midwest doing some lean kitchen stores. He crushes, dude. He's such a smart. I keep calling him kid because he's like 3 years younger than me. He's not a kid. He's a guy.
Yeah, he's a man.
And he's a fucking good one. And he's a hard worker, man. I've been out there a couple times when we opened up some fitness stores in St. Joseph, Missouri, and now he's doing his own. And dude, he crushes, right? Here's what's really cool, but here's what I also really pay attention that just lets you know, oh, that's a winner. We were having our annual franchisee convention. We were the franchisors, right? I was number 2 in that company. I'm on the franchisor side. We're having all of our franchisees in Denver to come and celebrate and have some fun. And social media was starting to kick up and ramp up, and people wanted more knowledge on that. And we brought a guy in that was doing Google ad clicks, but then also organic reach and just teaching you, hey, here's what Google wants from a business. Yep, cool, you can pay for ads, but then here's how you're going to get a lot of organic traction, and here's what they're looking for, and they actually want to promote your site because Google is very prideful on sending you to good places.
Sure.
So it's what he said. If you don't like Google, cool, I get it.
It's true. Go to Bing. We don't want you anyway.
I know.
We don't want you anyway.
Bing.
Get out of here.
Yeah, like
with
a guy
Android.
You drink Pepsi over Coke. Shut up. Unless they don't have that, right? But we're doing that. This guy gives a presentation. He's the last guy to go. We did a really cool exercise with everyone. We were chatting, doing the whole rah-rah thing, and then we let this guy chat. And he brought value. Super nice guy. And some people were on their phones, not paying attention, and whatnot. And Austin was, right? And he was the number 1 store in the entire franchise existence, including he was beating the shit out of the corporate store.
Damn.
Phenomenal. Winning. Okay. Winning. And once this guy's done, he's like, hey, I'm going to be in the back if you guys have additional questions or if you'd like to know how to sign up for our services, just let me know. Like, I'm here. I've known, these guys for a little bit of time, and I've helped them, and like, hey, I'm happy to help. No one went and saw that dude in the back of the room except for Austin. The dude was crushing. He had every excuse to just sit down, enjoy the fucking ribs we bought, hang out, be cool shit for the night. He's a big deal. And he was kicking ass. No, man. He's back there for 20 minutes talking to that guy, gets signed up, spending some of his own money that he's earned to reach a different level. And then you got people in there that couldn't even understand a Facebook check-in for their fitness store. Couldn't even go out and just do things in it. Like, their stores were not successful. And they didn't ask that guy one thing. And like, I see that. Now that's a pretty obvious one. Like, this isn't some, like, I'm not doing some Houdini shit here. Like, that was a pretty, if you were paying attention, not drink, like if you were watching the room versus trying to dive into the room, you would have seen
dive
that.
Into your plate.
And I'm like, dude, that kid, no matter where he goes, he's a fucking winner because of that type of mentality. He's crushing. He has, just like a Kobe Bryant, man. Like, last 5-6 years of his career, he was already a Hall of Famer, man. He was a Hall of Famer, and he was played for like 5 more years, but his numbers were already Hall of Fame status. Yet he was beating the shit out of everyone and practicing and working harder and bringing people up around him. And that type of effort and that type of ability to just be resourceful and put your own success on your shoulders. And that's something that and our team is great. I use the team for an example a lot, but I'm not mad at anyone. Full disclosure if you guys are listening. But taking responsibility for your success in your career is needed. If we're a resource for you and we can help you with contracts and give you some ideas and some things, cool. I will not do it for you.
Right.
I'm not going to throw your event. I'm not going to knock your doors. I'm not going to talk to your family and your friend. I'm not going to build your sphere. Like, you got to take it upon yourself and say, my life, my success, my whys, my wants are my responsibility. Here's the deal. As a leader, you got to be able to say that. But if they don't respect you, and if you haven't given them tools to go use to then start that responsibility, it's really hard for people to get going. It's really hard.
Tools and direction, but you can't take them there. They have to go there. They have to reach out for that stuff. That's like, what's the saying? Like, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink or something like that.
Yeah.
when in reality too, if that horse doesn't want to go, you ain't pulling that fucking horse. If a horse don't want to go somewhere, they ain't going somewhere, right?
And humans are smarter than that. Horses, I think they're self-aware. Like, stop. I'm not thirsty, but no, I agree, man. And we've got a couple more topics here. I wrote down this here.
Oh, we're not even gonna hit most of them. We kind of went off on a.
No, we're hitting some great. Oh, we hit a great one.
We had some. Good
I've got some
today.
notes here, man. No fixed rules in battle, no fixed rules in business. You know, so
let's talk about.
So another thing as a leader, like it's minus like, hey, don't be a liar. But there's just not necessarily any fixed rules like on the battlefield, right? There's so people have to learn how to fall back on fundamentals because no matter what, even like as a cop, man, you're rolling up and you've been to a neighborhood 30 times, 50 times, whatever. Or you got a noise complaint and you've gone back 3 times and then you get the 4th noise complaint. That doesn't mean that the 4th time you go, it's going to be the same. You might be complacent. Oh, I'll just go tell Kevin to turn his music down. But Kevin might have a felony warrant friend and I'm coming back the 4th time and now he thinks I'm coming for him because I just got word he's in the house and now he's shooting at me. But I'm complacent, just thinking that I'm going back for the same thing. And like, I probably am. Okay. But that's not how I approach that situation, right? Like you can't just have something that's just fixed and it just is what it is always, even down to a specific situation. And same thing in business, man. Like every situation is different, right? Like you're not going to have the same way to approach anything. So understanding, like being able as a leader, teaching fundamentals and teaching people how to think is what they're going to fall back on. Like, oh, I've never had this situation happen before. Okay, but what do you know? Right? And you're like, well, all right, I think I should be doing this because you understand how to like target prioritize. Right. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you understand like what can wait, what can't wait. You understand, You understand what needs to be addressed. You understand like, well, this is preference, this is law. Like you understand some of those things, man. So I think it's important. That was a great note. And I know I'm kind of getting on my phone here. Forgive me, guys. I just want to make sure we're focused on some of these things. But wait, you had a NLP?
Other topic.
Oh,
other
fuck
topic.
that. No,
topic.
No. And I wrote /persuasion because
we had a little thing.
Yes. I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah, we talked a lot about leadership on this podcast, and it ended up not being such a bitch fest as I was hoping.
We tried to be positive.
It was really good. Yeah, it turned out really positive today.
Unless we're talking about you, Craig. I'm still throwing this out there, Craig, to make sure you're listening. And Matt.
Yeah.
Craig and Matt.
P.S. Leave a review.
Please.
That's a rule. If you talk shit, you have to leave a nice review on iTunes. Yeah, please. It definitely helps, guys. But we were going to talk a little bit about, just the people out there that are, faking it and they're packaging everything up on social to sell us.
No, here's my thing. No, you're right. And I've had some time to think on this since last night. They're giving you what you want.
Yes.
Okay. We've shit on. I'm glad I'm going to say this because I want to get your opinion on this too, because we have shit a lot on like, the fitness industry and like a diet pill doesn't work. 30-minute abs, 5-minute abs, 30-second abs. That shit don't work. Yada, yada, yada. And it comes into business. And this isn't NLP. This is across the board of like sales training and like how to persuade people into using you. Like marketing. They're just using some strong ass words, man. Like,
right.
Look, man, I am who I am. If I feel like I know my shit, I'm going to give you a great presentation. None of my presentation should be persuasive to use me. No. It should just be factual. It should be predicated upon your opinion of how well I can present and answer and attack whatever you've got me hired for.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
But here's my I bet you're gonna like this. Ooh.
Let's hear it.
Being a new leader and all.
Macho Man Friday.
Ooh. I can't do it. I need the whiskey. They're giving you what you want. Put yourself back as a trainer, okay? And everybody asking you, how do I get abs? How do I get abs? Well, I saw this. Well, I saw that. Well, can't you just do this? Can't you just do that? Like, and then finally someone was like, fuck it, fine. America's lazy? Oh, you want the shortcut? Great. I'm going to make a book or an online course called 30-Day Abs, and I'm going to sell it and make $1 million. Not my approach. I don't like it, whether you're making money or not. I just don't like it because it's not real. Right, and I'm kind of shooting from the hip here. I'm not calling any companies out. We will never be calling companies out.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like they're giving you what you want. Like there's so many people that just want the short answer, that don't want to put the work in, that don't want to be creative, that don't want to go figure out a process. They just want someone to tell them exactly what to do, how to do, when to do, why to do. And now we have all of these online courses, 0 to whatever in 90 days, sales professional, increase your business by 300% in 90 days, if not, get your money back. I mean, if you're looking at it from a different standpoint, like those only exist because people buy them.
Yes.
If people weren't buying them, right, like they wouldn't be successful. Right. And how much responsibility can you put on those companies for just feeding people the shit they want, right? Kind of like when people get mad at McDonald's. Well, you need to provide salad. You need to have salad at McDonald's. Why?
Right.
We don't need to do anything. If you can't keep your fat fucking face out of McDonald's and go exercise and lose weight, McDonald's has to provide a salad for you now? How about they serve whatever the fuck they want to serve? And don't be a fat fuck. And if you're not supposed to be eating it right now, don't eat it, right? So flip side of this is like, how mad can you be in an industry that's making $1 bazillion off of you buying a bunch of shit that deep down you probably don't know? And how many people are actually innocent or naive to the process where they just get duped?
Dude, yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe some. But most of them, no. Like, you just, deep down, you know it's not true, but you just want to believe it, and you're just like, man, maybe this one's like a little different. If I try it, maybe it'll work. And like, you know, and again, this is why it's fun to sleep on topics and just think about it. Because I'm like, man, we're getting ready to talk about these fucking people being fake, right? And like, man, you're just these like 30-day packages, right? And we despise them. I'm not that smart of a guy, man. I don't think so. I can figure it out, right? I know that I need my own data in my life. I can't just go create some template and like this guy gives me his 100 steps to success, right? Like, I think if you buy a package or if you buy something that's like, hey, here's how to fundamentally approach your day, or hey, here's how to get your ass up, and here's what you should be eating for breakfast, or hey, here's how I time block, something that you can take and make your own and be successful, great. But man, the more and more we kind of talk about it and make fun of some of those companies, the more and more I'm like, yeah, but they're making a lot of money. And people are buying them. They're buying their bullshit. So it's like, fuck, man. It's like, hey, if I'm going to be mad at them for selling shit, and full disclosure here, stuff that I think is bullshit. Okay, I'm not like, if somebody's been successful off of it, like, I'm not going to get. I know there's 1,000 companies out there, and someone's going to say one of them is good. I'm not. Then it probably is. If it worked for you, I'm not going to argue it. I'm just talking about a lot of your gimmicks out there that are bullshit. But if I'm going to be mad at them for being, for pretending or for being something they're not, then I got to be mad at McDonald's if they didn't want to serve a salad. Right. In my head. When I'm like, no, I don't give a shit if they serve a salad. If they don't serve a salad, I'm just going to go somewhere that does if I'm a fat fuck and I need to eat salad. Or I'm not going to be mad that they offer me extra large fries. I can say no. So I'm having a hard time. Like, yes, I don't like what they're doing, but it's like, they're not holding a gun to anyone's head.
Well,
right?
and this comes back to, we can be upset about the people that are doing the things, but what's easier to change? Somebody else you have no control over, or yourself?
Correct.
Right.
And there's just so much gimmick out there. People just can't fall back into just applying some fundamentals. And this is why it's fun to do this podcast, because we are not even close to where we want to be. We're not a big deal. Yeah. But it's fun to document. It's fun to talk about struggles and different things that we go through, and just collecting our own data, because some people don't agree with the podcast. Some people buy leads off Zillow and it works. And I go, great. Okay. Like, I'm great. It just, hey, that's not our model. We do something else. But if I were to just go do someone else's model, I might not be half as successful right now.
Or happy
if I would have just done things my way, how I know to be successful. And then, but here's why I do get mad at those companies: honesty, transparency, and honesty. Because when people come to our team, they're not expecting leads. When people come to our team, they're not expecting like a gimmick. Like, full disclosure, when we're doing interviews or they're watching our stuff, like, they know exactly we are social media heavy. We are doing production and content heavy. We are getting involved with your friends and your family in your sphere, and people at your gym and your community, and nonprofits and HOAs.
We make it very clear that we're not a team for everybody.
No, we're not. So I think there's layers here. So when it comes down to like these companies selling shit online and they email you stuff, or they're the infomercial at 3 a.m., that's kind of on you, man. If you're going somewhere and they're face to face with you and they are saying one thing and doing another, or if they're roping you in about how great the team is, but then they don't provide you anything or any value, that sucks. Yeah. Because people are coming there for a reason and they're relying on you to learn something, and then they're not getting it. Sucks. However, that happened to both you and I.
Yeah.
You just got to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stay stuck somewhere
No.
and be there for a year or 2 years or 5 years, and you're complaining and they're not the right place for you, but yet you're not being resourceful enough and grabbing your cojones, you know, and I was trying not to say balls, you know, it's not just about guys, it's it's women too, man.
Yeah.
But just cowboying up and then go finding somewhere to go.
Be
that
resourceful.
does provide.
Be resourceful, and you know, like, you know, when you're about to buy, and just understanding marketing. I think, like, for me, I've got a good understanding of marketing and click funnels and all that shit. So, like, if I see my wife like looking at something or watching something, I'm like, "What the fuck are you watching over there?" And then she's like, "Oh, look at this thing." And the last one was I don't know, like tights or something. She was about to order, and she actually caught this one because she learned. She's looking at these tights and shit, and like, wow, they're like $19, blah blah blah, and then she reads the fine print, and it's like, okay, you're signing up for, it was $70 a month, like subscription for fucking tights, and she actually caught it that time, and I'm like, awesome. But look at where you're buying shit from, guys. If you're buying a course, you're paying some coach a couple $1,000 a month, or even contemplating it or thinking about it, even if it's a $99 ebook. Look at who you're buying it from. Look at what they've actually done. They've got to have some sort of actual business experience, or some sort of street cred or something.
And that brings us to one of our topics. I don't have to look at my phone for this one. Is at some point, right, in this whole thing, you got to be credible, and you got to show some level of success for yourself. Okay, like being a fat trainer. I'm just going to use that one. I'm not talking about anyone specifically.
Personal trainer, yeah.
Being a fat personal trainer. Not like thicker, but like an athlete. I'm not talking about that, a fat trainer. There are some.
That's plenty.
You might get a couple people to work out with you because in reality, they don't really want to get in shape. They just want to bitch about their day, and they're comfortable with you because you look like them. Yep. But at some point, if you want people to take you serious, or if you want to grow your network, you got to be able to display that you are proficient at whatever the fuck you're trying to teach, man. And I have a hard time if you can't. And again, that's why this is so fun documenting, doing our podcast, is like, hey, we're just documenting what works for us. Right. We're talking about the team, but yeah, man, we did #1 with Berkshire fourth quarter with most homes sold and top 1% of nation's production, you know, through Berkshire Hathaway. And we're having a crushing third quarter right now. And what we talk about and what we say works for us and where we stay in our scope, like, we're showing success. And a lot of people get on the mic and run their mouth, especially online. There's some pretty popular guys out there that run their mouth, and you like, they've never done anything but like tell you what to do, but they've never done that process themselves. They've never built a business, or they've never built a team. There's no pedigree that shows that they've done anything. Their whole business is just telling you how to do business. Yeah. And I have a hard time with that. And I think if you're out there, you should have a hard time with that as well. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. If you can't have some type of pedigree, man, that shows your success with what the fuck you're trying to tell me to do. Like, why should I trust you, man?
Right.
Because you're just regurgitating someone else's information, because there's that too. And dude, and here's my thing. I regurgitate some people's information and I quote them. If it's Tosh, if it's wherever, I quote it. But I also elaborate on it and I say, well, here's what someone told me. But then here's how I've applied that to my world, and here's how that works for me, period. But you have a lot of people that they just never done it, but they're trying to educate you or teach you on how to do it based off of them just regurgitating someone's information.
Well, very few people question intention, question their record, question who's teaching them something. And again, that's another thing I've picked up from you, is having a healthy dose of skepticism. And, you know, whenever I'm going into something new or meeting somebody new, or, you know, just diving into things a little bit that I'm not super familiar with, a healthy dose of skepticism can work wonders, man. Because an overly optimistic person like myself, I had, again, bad habit of just trusting people first until they gave me a reason not to. But fucking that bit me in the ass, man. A lot.
But here's the deal: not trusting someone right away is not negative.
Yeah,
you just haven't earned it. Yep. But hey, you're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool. I'm going to treat you respectful. I'm not going to be a jerk to you. I'm not going to fucking walk up to you like and show you I don't trust you or some bullshit like that. No, man, we're all good. Right? But no, I don't trust you. But again, it's not negative. I'm just like, hey man, I'm feeling you out. Hey, I'm sure you've got the best of intentions. Great. We're going to find out.
It's just, I don't know you.
And then here's what I feel. Do that to me too.
Yes.
Right? Like, you know, like, hey, do that to me. I hope you do, because I want to make sure that you trust me and you're not just trusting me because someone else told you to trust, you know.
Exactly.
And just man, I've had a couple posts on this before too. When I say who you get your advice or your mentorship or your leadership from, it almost matters more than like what they say.
Yeah.
Right. Because there is a lot of cliche shit out there now. And, just 60% of your problems, there's a quote that'll solve it. Right. Like there's stuff out there that's vague enough where someone can say something to you and you're like, oh, cool. Like, nope, not cool. Because then you go in, you start diving into it and you got more questions. So who you seek, advice from, it matters. And, I hope they have the ability to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think I can speak to a lot, but it's depth. Mine is really depth. It's not width. I don't know a lot of things.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm solid on a couple of things. Leadership has to be one of, leadership and culture are like those things that I really feel like I can gravitate to, and emotional intelligence is what I think I can speak to, and I think are my solid points. And I can talk all day about those. But if it's outside the scope, that's where I don't give myself much credit. I think I get by because I can fall back on fundamentals, but I'm not afraid to tell someone I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I think which people would start learning that, man, because someone asked me about climate change the other day. What do you think about climate change? And I'm like, I honestly,
What?
I don't have just a topic. These topics that come up.
No, I know.
Politics, whatever. What do you think about climate change? I'm like, I have an opinion, but I do not know enough.
I don't
have enough to have a conversation about it or even voice anything because it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Or even more scary than opinion is agenda.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not bashed on any celebrities, but I know some of them are out there doing like environmental advocate shit. Sometimes with investment money and different things, like there's an agenda, and you got to remember agendas, and Tosh, if you're listening, love you, dude. You know what's cool about him is he's not in my direct circle, right? Like he's not friends with my wife, and then his wife hangs out with my wife and and all of that. So he's not emotionally invested into my life like that. He cares about me, I'm guessing, as a brother and as a Marine, right? But I don't like know his kids, and like I've met his lady. But she doesn't text me or call me, or and my lady doesn't talk to talk. Like so he knows me, and he's getting to know me better. But what I really like is there's no agenda. Versus, man, sometimes if you're having a hard time with your wife or something else, it's like you talk to your buddy, and it's like, oh my God, he's gonna get a divorce, and like, but now our wives can't hang out,
right.
And now every time I go see your wife, you're not there, it's gonna be weird, and that's a very vague, probably not very good example.
I get it though, yeah.
But or like if you were to come to me, oh man, I just hate real estate. I might not be your best first conversation. Now I'll be honest and I'll say I don't give a fuck.
You will.
You and I got a company,
Yeah.
so we got to. I do give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm being
Yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
but anywhere else, it's like, what if you're doing 40 deals a year right now and you're on a team,
Right.
And you're like, hey, I'm not feeling real estate anymore. But you are the number one person on that team. Like they might have an agenda to give you some advice that's maybe beneficial to them versus more to you.
Yep.
So you really got to be careful with that and just really just be aware of like who is giving you some of the advice and just what, just question what they say. And it's not bad. I still question what Tosh says, what little he says to me. I question it.
Yeah.
And it always comes out clean on the other side.
Yeah.
But again, he has no agenda with me, man. He's just proud of me, and he politely says, hey, it's all good, low stress, when I text him 12 times. No, you're cool, homie, I'm busy. All right, cool, but it's safe.
Yeah.
And I like it because if he needed to be hard on me, if I fucked up, he would do it. But at the same time, it's a really safe place to go. And I like that. And I think other people should have that. You and I are very rare. We do business together. But if you didn't want to do real estate, I'd be like, cool, let's figure this out because
Right.
we're still making money and doing our thing. But all right, well, what are we going to do? What do you want to do? You're tired of real estate? What should we do together?
I know. I like
And then if you were like, well, it's all right. It's not that I don't like real estate. I don't like you. I'd be like,
conversation.
oh, then I'm going
right.
to cry. But I also have enough self-respect to go, hey, you know what, man? If you just don't like me, like that sucks because I like you. But look, man, I don't want to spend some time with you if you're not into me. All right. Is that it, though? That's not it, right?
No, that's not it.
Fucking thank God.
I love real estate and I love you.
Very true.
Real estate's tight.
Leadership. Leadership as a template. We went that. Respect your audience. Put out quality shit. We were listening to some podcasts, some rich ass dudes. We'll start it with that. And I'm not going to call it any podcast because maybe we'll be on one of yours one day. You got some pretty wealthy guys that are doing some successful things, and like their audio sucks on their podcast.
God.
Or their podcast is a regurgitated video.
Yes.
It's like like their podcast isn't the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just radio form. It's audio form of something else that you've already heard or seen.
They did a
somewhere
video
else.
and they just took the audio from it and put it on iTunes.
And that's nice because, you know, like if I'm watching, like let's say I'm watching Gary Vee hypothetically, and it's on YouTube and I'm working out. Well, you can't shut the screen because it turns off. But if it's on a podcast form, you can.
Right.
So I understand that. But more value is, you know, a deliberate podcast with long form discussion and thought process. It's so valuable, and I think a lot of people want that. So bad audio, gotta go. If you make more than $1 a year, there's just no excuse, man, to just not have great audio.
It's a product, dude. And if you were selling, if any one of those motherfuckers, I say it with respect because I respect those motherfuckers, but if any one of those motherfuckers were putting out any of their other products like that shit podcast, which is a product, they wouldn't be where they're at.
Right.
They have whatever you're putting out, whatever content you're putting out, you have to look at it like a product, and it has to be quality. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're just starting off, you're doing the best you can with what you got, understandable, but it still has to be extremely good value. Maybe if it's not that good of product, like sound quality, but the value is phenomenal, okay, fine. But sooner or later you have to get
and some of these people
there.
that we're not discussing, look, man, they make hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, man, like, are you spreading yourself so thin? You're just throwing shit against the wall to make sure you're on a platform because you think it's timing. I don't know. I don't want to speak to it because I'm not in their head, and I don't want to bad talk them specifically. What I want to say is I think you should just rethink your approach as far as the type of content you're putting out, and then the quality, right? And here's my other deal, like. We spent a decent amount of coin on this, and you and I, we're not millionaires, you know, we're close, right?
Well, and it's our it's our video, it's our podcast, it's our team, it's everything.
In addition to that, like I do think about the podcast, I do take notes. This is separate content that comes from questions online, that comes from things that happen through our week, and I'm okay if it's not a question from online. If it's from something that's going on from our week, well, again, man, we are consistently growing right now, and we're documenting. So there's something that's going on in our week that we can speak to that helps someone else. I want to help them. It's like if you're going to take the time to listen to us, I want it to be valuable. I want you to take something from it. Secondly, you know, I want the audio and the video to be good. That way, when you're watching, it's entertaining. Like you can see it. We had my buddy who might be on the podcast, Lone Cut.
Yeah.
He's like, man, your shit looks like Joe Rogan. I go, he's like, it's just quality. I like it. I go, hey, man, thanks. And he's like, no, man, that's just cool. He goes, that's important. You know, and I go, man, you're right. Like, hey, I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan. But we did look at his and look at Jocko's, and you know his was like black and white, but we were looking at camera angles. Like we did a ton of research on like, hey, who do we think is doing it right? And we got some good visual. We got quality stuff to put out a good product from day one. That way, if this is something that someone can use, they're not like bleeding from the ears or like pulling their fucking hair out trying to watch. You know, like. It's just good stuff. And then second, like the audio. Like if you're in the gym and you want to listen to this, or you're in your car or wherever you're at, I want you to be able to put your headphones on and not wish it to be better. We were listening to a podcast the other day. We actually like the guy. Yeah. I would actually listen to your podcast, and I turned it off because your audio had a ton of echo, and I could tell that mic was across the room. We got fat with us every day. We wear lav mics, whatever they're called, so the audio's quality. When we're here, it's like this. It gets directly uploaded. And I'm like, wow, man, I look up to you. You know, and that's where like it gets scarce. It's like you've got so many like people that just want to be a part of a bandwagon and kind of come and go. But then you've got this middle layer of like, hey, we're actually productive or successful, and I like you, and I actually want to listen to your stuff and be a fan and apply it, but I can barely hear you over that echo, and it's so distracting.
Yep. You can't take
it gets
content.
turned off.
Yeah. Well, dude, and that's just a good habit, man, that I think you and I both have. If I'm digging a fucking hole, it's going to be a good goddamn hole. You know, like whatever we do, whatever we're putting our name on, it's going to be good. It's going to be quality. Just because that's how you and I do things, you know?
Well, and maybe we're just because we're still on the climb, we need all we can get to get there. But again, I just think, if I want to listen to the guy we were listening to his podcast and it's way too echoey, I'm just going to go watch his other channel.
Yes.
When I can.
Yes.
A podcast is way more convenient because I can shut my screen off, put my phone away. I'm in the gym with that on. So now I can't listen and apply what you want. And it's like, it was just regurgitated content. Like I would really like for some of these guys to throw it out there, or the guys that lecture.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And like Andy Frisella. I'm just going to say his name because it's no disrespect.
Yeah, not at all.
That dude's phenomenal. I like, we watched First Form grow when we were in the fitness company, and those dudes are phenomenal.
Yep.
And everything Andy Frisella says on his podcast is correct. And every time he's bitching people out, like, hey, you got no reason to be unsuccessful. Like, I built a real company. I did this. I did that. And I didn't even have all this shit. I didn't have the internet. I didn't have this, but I did it. You're fucking lazy. Dude, everything he's saying, especially when you come from like the fitness world, everything he's saying is correct. However, selfishly, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not that dude. I'm not the guy you got to yell at. I'm actually the guy that's got a partner. And hey, we're actually applying a lot of the stuff you've been speaking about over the years. Can you make a separate podcast that just keeps it within focus of like, all right, guys, here's my 5 do's on social media. Yeah. And then, because, dude, like, I was listening to one the other day, and he's like, all right, here's my 5 don'ts or 5 do's. And he would say one, number 1, this. I go, yeah, like, okay, I like that. Yeah. But then he wouldn't elaborate on advancement of that. He would go, yeah, because you know what? You other motherfuckers are doing this, you motherfucker this, you motherfucker that, and I didn't have a fucking internet. Motherfucker. By the way, my calves are huge. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, God damn it. And dude, I like the guy. He's a hustler. Yeah. They've got great culture with First Form. Like, I literally love everything about those guys.
Same.
I'm at a point where I'm selfishly, right? Because look, I don't rate to tell him to tell me anything. That dude is on the moon right now financially with his business. It's not my place.
Even his podcast, crushing. He's like number one. Like,
he's number one. Yep. So, or he's up there, top 5. So, like, a lot of people maybe need to hear that or it gets them jazzed up. I get it. So I'm in no place to tell that guy what or where he needs to be doing. But internally and selfishly, I'm like, man, I wish you had a different one that every time you went in there for 20 minutes or an hour, you just put this other hat on and you're like, all right, I'm going to talk this one. And I'm going to give benefit of doubt that anybody that's on this one is actually applying my shit. So it doesn't turn into a reprimand. Because, again, I want to listen to it. I just can't. I can't because I'm like, man, I love your subjects and I love like a topic. But you're not my dad and you shouldn't be my dad. I don't need a dad. Like, I'm good to go. We're doing our thing. But, again, it's not my place to tell him what to do. But fuck.
Yeah.
It's hard. And again, it's not that we don't lecture, we don't talk a little shit here and there, but I really try to keep ourselves to here's what's working for us. And with our fan base, I don't know if you're a shitbag. I don't know if you're I'm giving everyone benefit of doubt of like, I'm giving you benefit of doubt that look, you're applying everything I'm talking about.
First of all, if you can find a podcast on your damn iPhone, Scott, if you're smart enough to find the podcast, if you're listening to our bullshit, you're probably at a place where you're receptive to hear. But that's what we assume.
You're lazy and you're on your phone all day.
But but you're not going to listen to our bullshit for long if you're not actually interested in it or wanting to apply some of those things to your life. So the bitch fest, like it's probably just not needed.
No, well, at least that elaborate.
Yeah,
like at least to that extent.
Every single one.
Yeah, or dude, Dave Ramsey. I saw this thing on the news feed today. I'm coming home. I'm waiting for you, and we're waiting to do the podcast, and I see is like somebody posted some Dave Ramsey, and he starts talking about like how millionaires have made their money. I'm like, cool, and then he goes, millionaires didn't make their money on airline miles. And he starts fucking yelling into his mic, and I'm like, so I comment, it's like, why are you yelling? Like. But, dude, a lot of these, they start young. I'm like, now, again, they're successful people. So I'm not going to go and say, hey, don't yell. I don't yell. Why are you yelling? That's not my place. It's not. This is me. But I try to give everyone benefit of doubt that's listening, that they're going to apply our stuff.
Yes.
Point number 2, if you don't, I'm not giving this content with the expectation that you are. I'm doing this content because this is just who we are. We feel really good about giving actual, real-time, up-to-date information on what's working and what's not working for us. If you don't apply any of this, but you love hearing to it, I already understand that I can't control the outcome after it leaves this microphone, right? So point number 1 is I give benefit of doubt.
Yes.
Okay. Point number 2, if you're not using it, I'm not doing it for you. And I understand I'm not doing it with the expectation that you do. I don't have that ego. Thirdly, the guy that is doing it, I'm going to stay focused on him.
Yes.
Because the one guy that's listening to this podcast or the 5 guys or however many or women out there that are taking this and are utilizing it, we will not turn this into a podcast that starts bitching people out because it's fucking popular or because it gets us number 1.
Yep.
Won't do it. I'm going to stay focused on the people that are productive, that respect our time, that are actually applying it, that can create some success, because I want you to win.
And here's the thing. You can still keep it real.
Yeah.
Like, you're still keeping it plenty real,
Yeah.
right? But you're making sure that you're giving the most value to the people that are going to take it and use it, right?
But again, man, like and again, no matter how financially successful you are or whatever it may be, it doesn't necessarily make you a great leader, right? There's other measurements that do. But here's my thing. Like, when people just are yelling and bantering and just bitching at people on that mic, I'm just like, is your ego so high that you have this expectation that everyone listening should just take what you say and run with it? And if they don't, like, how dare they take, hey, I'm giving you my time. I don't got commercials. I don't get paid for that shit. Yeah. I'm fucking doing this for the right fucking reason, and you should be fucking listening and fucking applying. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, that's your ego talking right now, and that's pretty much you saying, like, I'm doing this with the expectation that you're going to, like, you don't control that.
Yeah.
Like it or not, you don't control the outcome after it leaves this mic. But I'll tell you what, you're a big deal, and a lot of people look up to you, and I'm one of them. I'm listening. I'm applying. I would much rather, coach, kick the guy off the team. Okay, so like in your head, psychologically, just imagine that everyone that you've been bitching about for the last year is just gone, and then just get back to helping the people that are listening. Because here's the deal. Whoever you're bitching at right now, it's not even necessarily real. Like, you see stuff out in the community, right? You see, like, we see stuff in real estate, we see stuff in sales, right? So that gives us a topic to go, you motherfuckers this, you motherfuckers that. But that's me assuming that one of those motherfuckers is listening to me.
Yeah, no.
No, maybe not. Maybe those people you hate in fitness aren't fucking listening to your podcast. I don't know. But I really try to stay focused on benefit of doubt, that people listening are applying all this. Secondly, if they're not, maybe they will at some point, and they'll get their shit together and they'll unfuck themselves. Thirdly, right, I'm going to focus on the people I think that are. So there's just some value here, man. So a big deal. And those were just some of our frustrations as you and I get bigger into the business and as we listen and we're fans. Like, I think no matter how big of a deal you become,
100%.
Like, I'm sure Michael Jordan, was a fan of Iverson, or Iverson was a fan of Kobe, even though they were players. I think you're still a fan, and there's just some frustration for you and I this week of, wow, your podcast audio is garbage. God damn it. Like, I look up to you, man. I want to listen to your shit, and I can't. I want to pull my eyes out. Or, okay, Dad, you've yelled at all of us, but hey, I'm the kid that's not getting in trouble. Can I get you for a minute?
Yeah.
And can you elaborate on these topics in a productive direction versus a banter?
Great way to put it, man.
It's hard.
That's a great
but again,
way to put it.
I don't rate to even tell them how to change it. I'm not asking them to change it.
Just an observation.
Food for thought, man.
Just an observation.
They're big deals. They're awesome dudes.
Yeah.
It's just an observation.
Yep.
And then, we've covered.
I think that's it, bro.
We've covered a lot of it. Fat, what do you think, buddy? Are we doing all right over there?
He's asleep.
You don't want to talk?
No, Fat's mic shy.
Is he?
I think so.
Fat.
A little bit.
I'm the one that has to cut this thing off until you, right? So I guess if you say hi, we'll cut it off.
Hi. People like hearing from you, man.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a different camera angle.
We'll have Chloe come and run the camera someday, and Fat can jump in here.
I'll talk one day.
Or we can do we can add like a camera over here, and or it can like
if you want to see
catch all of us.
If you want to see Fat Cam, comment below. Fat Cam.
Either way,
common denominator for today, just to kind of recap. Find out who you are. Ask yourself lots of questions from a positive place. If you got to be hard on yourself, I have to make myself be hard on myself, and it's not a negative thing. But ask lots of questions. Throw a healthy dose of skepticism into everything that you're around, right? And question things again from a healthy and from positive way. And really reconsider if you really want to be a leader or not before you start calling yourself a leader. Really dive into if you're an actual leader.
Listen, man, there's some advanced guys out there that are happily taking on that role, but then again, these expectations that they have are just they're not taking enough accountability as far as like, hey, no, that's actually your role. If they're not where they need to be, well, yeah, you pointed it out. You suck. Yep, you called it. They suck. You called it. You're right.
But,
now what?
Yeah, but.
Right? Like,
right. And then,
you ever like a parent in the stands, hit the ball. Oh, you missed it.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
You want to come in here and hit?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay, then first of all, you shouldn't even be saying I missed it. No shit. Secondly, that's not your platform because you can't speak to it because you can't hit the fucking ball, right? Or if you can, you go in there and crush, great. Can you show me how to approach it now? Right? Like, okay, all right, cat's out of the bag. I suck.
Yeah, yeah.
Now what, man? And I think that's, again, leadership is not telling people what they're bad at. Dude, it's so diverse. And your biggest thing
and
is...
it's not pumping them up all the time either.
Let me just
not either one of those.
Let's just throw a new word out there. Let's call it like human development, right? Like we can't use the word leadership now because it's so watered down, you know, and again, it's like people calling people out. Great, but you're not developing them. And then it's like, oh, leadership development. No, because maybe they don't want to be a leader. Like it's just developing people to be better and really focus on what they're good at. Be adequate at what you're not, man. Like you got to be well-rounded. I know you guys out there listening to Gary Vee and, hey, triple down on what you're good at. And if you suck at it, hire it out. Fuck it. Kinda, man. But at some point, especially if you're running a business, you got to be savvy at a lot. And you might, like you and I, we're savvy at everything that involves our business. And then I've got my couple focal points that you just hand me the phone and I do it. And then you got yours and you do it. But we're still proficient at a lot.
Yes.
And I just don't want that getting taken out of context, guys, especially if you're still up and coming and you're growing. It's really hard to just hire it out. And then if you hire it out, dude, are people still like, oh, you hire an accountant, but you have no idea how it works? Dude, we have people in our networking group that have had people steal money from them. $50,000, $60,000 in 1 year got stolen. And he didn't catch it for 2 years.
Yeah, because I don't know what you're looking at.
You don't. So again, it's like, yeah, cool, you can hire it out, but you still need to be proficient at what you're doing. So when you do hire it out, there's checks and balances to that. And, you know, like when we're doing fix and flips, man, you going to let a GC tell you something's going to take 9 months when you know it's a 4-month job? Because you're going to get charged for those extra months. Like, if you don't have the knowledge of what you're hiring out, dude, you think people just have your best interests at heart and they just love you? No. Question everything that people do, right? And it's agenda. And you have to go back to that,
and
too.
Keep in mind, guys, whenever, because you'll hear this word a lot on our podcast, whenever we're talking about leadership or being a leader, remember, you don't always have to be leading a team or leading a company. You're the leader of your family, and if you don't have that, you're the leader of yourself. So you have to question the things that you're doing. You have to look at yourself and keep yourself accountable. You have to look at your discipline. You have to ask yourself these questions. Everybody out there is a leader in one form or another, and I don't want you guys just to dismiss this podcast because you think you're not a leader in your head. At a bare minimum, you're leading your goddamn self.
Right, especially you youngsters out there that have been listening and kind of interacting on Instagram. Man, I appreciate you guys so much, and I love when younger guys are on this because I didn't get this growing up.
Oh, man.
You know, like we got exposed to it. Like I heard Jocko talking about how, you know, they had a class in the SEALs not too long ago. He was visiting some of his friends that are instructors, and you know, half the guys, 80% of the guys fail. And then he, you know, one of the instructors was talking to Jocko, and he goes, "Hey man, you see every helmet over there from all the guys that have quit?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Every one of them was a stud." You know, they had their reasons for quitting or whatever, but he's like, they're just with the resources online and listening to Jocko's podcast and just having all the knowledge of like what it takes to be a SEAL per se. They're just getting so much more prepared. And Jocko's like, man, I didn't even know. I had never even swam with flippers on until like, oh, you guys do that here? And he was already in SEAL training. Yeah. And I think it was a lot of it was for guys like me too, man. I wasn't exposed to stuff prior to my training either. I had to just gut it up. But for like the youngsters that are out there that they're only just leading themselves right now, boy, are you in a good position if you can listen to guys and apply it. And you're just setting yourself up for success, man. And I think it's a great thing. So with that being said, man, happy Friday.
We'll see you guys in a couple days.
We're going to let Fat spin this thing out.
Every Monday and Friday, guys. Reviews help a ton.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, give us an honest feedback. We appreciate it. We'll give you a little shout out.
We'll hear you guys Monday. As always, we've got a great podcast on Monday. Out.